it'll get worse before it gets better, and it'll get worse before it gets better if it gets better. You know what I mean? So temper your expectations, but if you're a copium addict like myself, it's exciting. Hopefully. Please, God. God, please. Nikita, please, God, please, please. God. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast, the show dedicated to talking about all the progress things in life, like music, content creation, and video games. I'm one of your co-hosts, Jesse Kazam.
And I'm not Jesse Kazam.
Fun fact.
Despite what people think. Dog, we were just talking about this, and I said I'm going to have to save it for the cast. Okay, hot take. Other than the fact that we're both white dudes with dark hair and beards, I don't think we look alike at all.
I don't either, yeah.
Like, at all. But so many people are like, are you guys brothers? As if, like, we have so many similarities. Like, there's not in the eyes, not in the nose or the ear. Like,
and
so
what's weird is that all of the ways we look alike are the least common ways for brothers to look alike. Like, it's very, you know what I mean? It's very few and far between that, like, two brothers have the exact same facial hair or the same hairstyle or wear the same type of clothes. We don't look alike, and I find that so funny because what's hilarious is I have two brothers and we couldn't look more different. My younger brother we look completely different. My older brother's adopted from Korea, so it's like the three of us just do not look like family at all. And then you and me, we just wear hoodies and hats and have beards, and everyone's like, dude, I can't tell them apart. It's just so funny.
Yeah, well.
Well, what's up, man? How you doing?
I've been
I saw you were in the Diablo beta.
Yeah, dude, Diablo, it's been really fun and really nice breath of fresh air because Diablo 2 is one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
Diablo 3 was just kind of like a big letdown. It just didn't have the same enjoyment for me. And then Diablo 4 has been really enjoyable when I can play.
Dude, I feel like I could have, I saw your tweet earlier, but I feel like I could have predicted just the state of gaming right now that there was no way it would work, even though in my brain, not RTS, but ARPGs don't seem as technically complex, but maybe I'm insane, but I just like, it's just the way it goes now. If it's a beta, it's going to be broken. Like,
you can't have and like, really, in terms of bugs, like, there really aren't that many issues. Every now and then you'll like run into kind of like an invisible wall, but they've mostly fixed like 95% of those.
Okay.
But the biggest thing, dude, is like last weekend it was open Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Yeah. Same
thing this weekend right now, and then it was my wife's birthday on Thursday, which is when we normally record the podcast, and today's Saturday. But the first day or two, there was a long queue, so it was like, you know, I waited like 45 minutes to download the game. You download the game, you install it, then you get in like an hour-long queue, get into the game, make my character, kill like 3 mobs, and then I get disconnected from the game. And then you can't reconnect. You have to exit the game and then come back, and it's like 90-minute queue.
Yeah.
You wait 90 minutes, and it usually ends up being like 70 minutes rather than 90.
Yeah, but still.
And then it was really bad. And then yesterday was another really annoying thing because I had a week, which we'll get to, of like Tarkov insanity that I just didn't want to fuck around with anymore. So I was just like, I cannot wait until Diablo. Like, I've been actually, like, for the first time in a long time, been excited. And I'm like, even with the queue stuff, I don't even care. Like, the gameplay was enjoyable.
Yeah.
But I said, even with the queue stuff, it was like 35-minute queue, 5 minutes of gameplay, 45-minute queue, 7 minutes of gameplay, 45-minute queue, 40 minutes of gameplay. And it was, man, it's like all they'd need to do. I mean, this is like Blizzard we're talking about. All they need to do is just give you like a token or a cookie for your session.
I've never understood.
When you make it in, if you wait the queue, just flag, so you know it's a beta and you know that people are getting disconnected and that people's games are crashing. So just like, that should be the first thing you do, is make it so that once you wait through the queue, you get whitelisted.
Yep.
Even if it's like for 3 hours or something, right?
Yep.
3-4 hours. But yeah, no,
It's crazy because it reminded me a lot of the New World launch where the same thing was happening. You'd wait, like on launch weekend, you'd wait in the queue. It'd be like 20,000 people in the queue, and you'd get down to 100, and it would just kick you, and you would just end up right back in the queue. And it's like, how in like 2023 do we not have a way to just acknowledge that, yeah, you've either made it to this point in the queue or you've made it through the queue. You should be whitelisted to get back into the game, because the queue is there for when people are leaving the game, not when the game just like you skip the line because somebody got a bug. You know what I mean? So I've always found that strange, but yeah, it seems kind of crazy.
You know what the funny thing is that like with all of that, I literally think I still had like more gameplay to not gameplay ratio than playing Tarkov.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But the benefit is that like I can play chess or like guitar because you're just waiting.
Yeah.
You're not clicking. And I would rather just wait. You know, imagine if it was like, rather than take 7 minutes to click through all the things and sell all the things and buy all the things, you could press one button.
Yeah.
It would do all of that automatically, but it would take 8 minutes. I'd be like, give me the 8 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and I can just like play Clash of Clans on my phone or something. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, so, but overall, it's been really fun. It's a lot more like Diablo 2 than Diablo 3, which is good. And I'm just looking forward to, like, we've only got a couple more days, and then I think it's nothing until
like launch,
like 2 months from now. It's like May, I think, when they finally release. And I'm actually like excited to.
That's
grind.
Cool. I've heard nothing but good things. Like everybody, once again, just for the same reason I missed all of the classic PC games. I came to PC for Tarkov, so like I never played a Diablo game. I've seen, like, you know, and I understand the cultural impact of Diablo. Like, it's just one of the most talked about games, especially in that genre. But everybody that I've talked to, even everyone in chat, where I'm just like, hey, anybody get in? And they're saying that they love it. So that's exciting.
It's one of those games that like a lot of people talk about Path of Exile, which is very similar in many ways. It's another ARPG but I never played it. But I can totally understand. Like, I know exactly what you feel like, because I look at that game, and even though I recognize people are like, it's the best ARPG ever, it's amazing, it's so great, because I don't recognize anything.
Yeah.
It's
just hard,
completely meaningless, and I have no interest in it.
Yeah. And I'm sure if I hopped in and played even the beta right now at Diablo, I'd probably get hooked, because that's what the game is a loot, you know, and it gets its claws in you quick and early. So yeah, so that's cool. I wish I could play. I wish I had more time. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like a super fun game to just like exactly what I popped in your stream before the cast, and you were just like vibing. You know what I mean? Listening to music, talking to chat, slaying some demons. I was like, dude, this, like, I could get behind this. You know?
Yeah, and part of why it was, I think, easier to get into, just because it's early.
Yeah.
I hate getting into stuff where there's a million people have been around for a million years. There's a million build guides. Everything's already like established.
Yes, same.
The way I feel is like I could just go and like save myself so much time and effort by just doing a build guide or whatever, but then you don't enjoy it as much.
It's like, so I understand when people say it's not too late to start, and I do believe them, but I feel like it's a me thing. It's like, I just can't. There's some sort of mental block. I know it's already been figured out. I'm going to be behind on everything. I'm going to get backseated into oblivion. And I just kind of don't want to do it. You know what I mean? It's like, I get it. I could hop in now and enjoy it, but
yeah,
you know, I just missed it.
And only having like 3 characters rather than like, you know, 7 or whatever, and only having 25 levels, that you make it to level 25, and then like you can't progress any further in the beta. So it's just like nice to, it's a lot less to learn. And to have to absorb.
That's cool.
So yeah, anyway, that's Diablo. It's exciting, but $70 for a game that you can only play like half the time is pretty rough.
That's
half the time on 8 days.
Yeah. That's brutal. But well, it has definitely been a week in Escape from Tarkov. Weirdly, a lot of stuff. But before we hop into the Tarkov stuff, we do want to thank one of the sponsors of tonight's episode, which I'm so excited about. I've been wanting this in any way, shape, or form at all. Thank you, Manscaped, for sponsoring this episode of the podcast. One of the most frequent questions that I get is, How do you keep up your beard? How do you trim your beard? I mean, look at us. We were talking about how we look exactly the same at the beginning of the podcast. So thank you so much to Manscaped. And the reason why I'm excited that Manscaped is sponsoring is because they are obviously well known for their below the belt grooming devices, but they have beard products now, which is super sick. And you can use code podcast on the website for 20% off. So the Beard Hedger Pro, it has a kit that comes with it. It's awesome. It is a waterproof cordless trimmer. One of the things that I love the most about it when we unboxed it, which by the way, all the boxing and all the presentation of everything is they just like lean into their brand, which obviously if you've seen any of the Manscaped stuff is hilarious, and they just hit the nail on the head. Look at that presentation. Your balls will thank you. It's so good. It's so good. But the Beard Hedger Pro, waterproof cordless trimmer. What I love about it is it's got a rotary wheel that gives you 20 haircut settings without all of the trimmer lengths. Like in my drawer, pre-Manscaped Beard Hedger you just pick the guards. It's like the 8 different guards if I want to do different lengths or if I wanted to do anything. And that's annoying. And so that's super sick. It's tough on hair, smooth on the face, single stroke efficiency. It's really, really cool. It comes with, they have a lot of other stuff as well. The kit comes with dermatologist tested formulations for your post-trim care, Manscaped's beard shampoo and conditioner. There's beard oil, beard balm. And there's also the brand new Weed Whacker 2.0, which is like a nose hair or ear hair trimmer as well, which is really nice to have something dedicated for that. It's awesome. The kit is awesome. Everything is great. I don't know. What have you used?
Dude, I've been using the shampoo, the body wash, and the deodorant.
It smells amazing.
It smells so good. Yeah.
Yep.
And, like now that I'm getting older, I actually have an appreciation for that, because it was like, you know, Pert Plus and, you know, whatever was in the shower my whole life. I just never cared. But now it's like, especially with like beard oil and everything, smelling good all day long.
Yep.
I'm just sitting with myself all day long. I like to.
I like to smell good.
But yeah, and then the other one was the nose hair trimmer, dude.
Yep.
It's satisfying.
Yep.
It's sad. And the one I had before, dude, it sucked. It was like one of the 4-star Amazon ones before, and it was bad, man. It was like every now and then I'd be like, oh god damn, you know. And this one was just smooth. Yeah.
Same here. Literally all of my products were like unbelievably old, gross, just decrepit stuff that I got when I first started kind of growing a beard, and I never really like invested in products for my beard, for the nose hair, for the oils and everything. And it's all awesome. So huge thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring this video. You can have your face looking great with the Manscaped Performance Package 4.0 for the full body grooming experience. And it comes with the Weed Whacker 2.0 and all of the other below the waist grooming products Manscaped is known for. So you can get 20% off and free shipping with our code PODCAST at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. And you can use our code PODCAST. Always use the right tools for the job. Your partner will thank you.
Boom.
So thank you so much, Manscaped. Dude, I was like legitimately excited about that.
Dude, remember before the cast I said I had a prediction to make?
Yes.
I haven't had a single internet down for like a week and a half.
And the prediction was that one would happen on the podcast?
Yeah. I don't know if I'm getting DDoSed.
Oh,
if there's something about
God.
If there's something about the Discord call, like what are the chances? I literally predicted this 6 minutes ago. I said right before, I said, all right, I have a prediction, but I'm not going to say what it is, but I'll point it out when it happens. And we just had like the stream go down.
Damn.
What are the chances, dude?
But please, God, tell me the audio's back. Because remember that last
no. Oh my God.
I don't know if I can handle 30 more minutes of that. It is okay. Thank Christ.
Dude, I don't know, man.
That is weird. That is weird. So it's an internet thing. It's not an OBS thing.
No, I don't think it's an internet thing. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Why does it happen?
That's crazy.
I feel like that would it would be a perfect time for someone who wanted to like grief me to like
just like wait.
Yeah,
Wait
dude, I
till the
don't know,
podcast
man.
starts.
Weird.
It is weird, but I'm glad we're back and I'm glad the audio's working.
Speaking of griefing, how about Tarkov?
Speaking of griefing, Tarkov, I don't know how much you've played. I've been playing. I went really, really hard this week. I've streamed
Dude, I saw what you were doing, and I need you to. I have not watched any of it.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I guess so. We can hop in there first, but like, so I've been trying to this wipe. I felt it coming quicker for me. The like frustration, the not really burnout, because I'm never sad to like hop on Tarkov and stream. It's just like I don't know. Maybe it is burnout. I don't know. I just like I got Kappa and I felt it coming. So I was like, I want to, and especially since like a lot of my content has been really anchored on educational content, like that's how I built everything. But there's just like nothing else. You know, a new wipe happens and I'm every wipe I'm like, dude, I'm gonna have so much content to make. And it's like, here's a video about the new guns. Here's a video about these 3 changes. Here's a map guide. And then like, you know, 2 weeks into the wipe, I'm out of educational content already. So I've been trying to like find something to do. So I was like, all right, let's do some challenges. Let's do some stuff where we just try and like engage with the stream. So me and Velian did a day where we tried to like rob people with the RSHs. And then last week we did raids where we picked a bunch of guns and we picked the worst ammo for every gun and tried to just slay out in PvP. And then we just
were you like purposefully like shooting legs or like what?
I mean, it depends. Like when I say worst, I mean worse. So we would actually a lot of times pick middle of the road, so it wasn't good enough for leg. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was like 18 pen, 37 damage, and you're like, this is useless. You know what I mean? We used PRS for 545 AKs, and that was super fun because like there were a lot of instances where we would get kills, and I would watch it back, and I'd be like, this is exactly what I mean, chat. Positioning and map knowledge and maneuvering can win you a fight no matter what you have, right? Like I killed this guy if I have a TT. He's literally looking the other way. I just won that. And then there were times where I was like ego swinging, you know, a left hand like I had an HK with 995 and I just died because I hit 14 hit count, no deaths because I've got terrible ammo. So, but then we ramped it up to 11 and we did a Tarkov Iron Man account where it was a duo Iron Man, and the whole thing was how high of level can we get without dying? And when we die, we have to reset the account. And I wanted to do that for a few different reasons. We made it level, not survives, because I can go 100 raids in a row hiding in a bush until there's 3 minutes left and then just running out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but progression is risky.
Exactly. We did delivery from the past on an Iron Man account. Like,
I've never died doing delivery from the past.
Like that tension. We did, you know what I mean? Like we were questing on an Iron Man account. We wanted to do level and then I wanted to make sure we reset the accounts as the loss condition for 2 reasons. 1, it will make for a better title and thumbnail. And 2, because you can only reset your account every 2 weeks. So like
do you have like 2 accounts? Like on standby?
No, we only had one account on standby. And I wanted there to be that tension because if we had unlimited resets, you could ideally the first 3 raids just charge PvP and not care, kill a Giga Chat and then be like, this is the run, guys. And I wanted it to feel like the run from the start. So it was like we reset the account, you have to wait 2 weeks and let's see what happens. And we made it almost 2 full days. We did an entire stream on that account and didn't die. And dude,
how differently did you play?
So differently. So because that was the original the way I arrived at the Iron Man challenge was I was trying to come up with content that completely subverted how we play Tarkov right now. It came out of this idea. I had like written this down on a post-it note. Just this YouTube title, which isn't going to be the title of this video, but the way Tarkov was supposed to be played. That idea of like survival means everything. And so I just ended up on like, okay, well, what's the most unforgiving? Survival is required to even participate in this challenge. And that's how we ended up there. And so we played. So once again, like I'm sure we could have, with enough attempts, played very normally. And you know, I've gotten 18 raid survive streaks before. You know, I know you've probably gotten 30 or 40 on factory before back in the day. But we wanted to play different. We wanted to. So we ended up getting. We only got 12 raids in, but we got to level 10, which was our goal. And almost every single raid, we were in the raid until there were like 5 minutes left. Like it wasn't like get in, get out, get the survive. Like we played the same amount of game time as probably like 30 raids because we were in every single one to the end.
That would probably be, I could imagine that would help your survival, right? Because like running to the extract in the middle of a raid, you're asking for trouble.
Exactly.
Towards the end is like maybe player scabs, but even then they have different exfils.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's probably the safest
So
thing.
it was harder to quest because like we would be like, okay, well we spawned here, let's swing crack house late and hope to find a Salua. Most of the time it was looted, but it was safer that way. And dude, just let me tell you, it was such a wild success because it brought the tension back, bro. We ended that 5-hour stream and I felt like I had just done a 24-hour. I was like, babe, I'm exhausted. I'm so tired. I had so much tension in my shoulders. It was like, part of that is obviously as the content creator, I want it to be good content. I want it to be entertaining for chat. I want it to be an entertaining video when it ends up being a video. But also it's just like every shot, every grenade that blows up, bro, like we were just like, oh my God. And the other thing that the other reason I was super excited about it is because everything we wanted to happen happened. We PvP'd in almost every single one of the 12 raids. We killed scavs. We got quests done. We got to level 10. And it was like, and the PvP was so stressful. Okay, so I'll tell one story from it. The second raid on, we spawn, we're doing customs and we spawn like in the water warehouse or by old gas, which is a rough spawn because you have people behind you and you have people in front of you. So we were like, let's just like wait around in the water warehouse. And 2 separate squads descend on us. And immediately we both start taking shots. Valiant loses a stomach. I lose an arm. I've got a heavy bleed. A grenade blows up and almost all of Valiant's body go. And we don't even have a CMS kit at this point because we're using standard account stuff. And it was just Valiant kills one. Some dude, a third party starts rolling up. I turn around. I flick to him. Junky AK with like BP ammo. I head tap this guy. I go, I have to loot him. He's got to have a better gun than us. Juice Lord M4 with the Thor and the muzzle brake, the jailbreak, like 19 recoil M4. Dude, I yoink that thing. We kill. We're on our way out. We're both like, I've got this juiced M4 and a Gazelle, but no meds. We don't have a CMS. We both have blacked out limbs. Valiant's running out of food and water. So we're like, we just have to get out of here. So we make like a huge flank around back towards boiler spawn up. And we were going to go around the hill, the sniper hill to the dorms. And we're running and we're talking and we're strategizing what extract we're going to use. And then boom, 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 boom. I get hit like 4 or 5 times. And this dude was stash running with a dude. I get hit, complete silence. Me and Valiant say nothing. We split. We both team fire him. I head tap this dude. Slick, Bastion slap, another busted jailbroke suppressed M4. I said, Valiant, take that M4 in this Gazelle. I got the Slick and the Bastion slap. I head tapped him, so it was all 100% durability. And we ran that gear for the rest of the challenge. It was so
Did you
clutch.
die eventually?
Yeah, we did die, yeah. We
on the
did
same raid?
No, that was the second raid of the 12.
No, I mean like, but did you guys die on the same raid?
Oh, yes, we did. We did die on the same raid. We had set up rules where like we wanted it to be it would have to be a team wipe to wipe it. And the thing was, we were originally going to make it where if one of us dies, in order for the guy who died to get like resurrected, a revive, the other guy had to extract with his dog tag. Like, so you had to stay in the fight.
Dragging him out.
Exactly,
kind of,
exactly. You couldn't just like run away. But we didn't even have to instigate that because we ran up on a 4-man in dorms and I killed one and they just like the audio. It actually sucks because the challenge ended because we didn't get any audio for some guys and it super.
That's why I would never do the challenge because my computer would crash on the second raid.
Yeah, we were worried we died of a cheater or something like that and it would ruin it. But
Oh yeah, you guys definitely had to like make sure you were hiding your
We
map.
were swapping servers like every 3 raids. We were swapping servers and stuff like that. We were trying to make
Yeah.
it but like bro, it was so intense. It was so different. It was like so new. And because we were playing with because we had a reason to play with survivability in mind, because that's the thing, like when you peel back the layers of the onion, it's like we don't play with survivability in mind really in our normal raids because there's really no reason to. And so we die a lot, and then because I'm dying a lot, I'm getting frustrated at the bugs a lot. But because we had a reason to play so slow and so intentionally, we made it 2 days, 2 full days without dying. And so there was so much less time where I was complaining about all of the reasons that I die. So it was like kind of this pseudo fun thing. I don't know. It was nuts though, bro. It was insane.
Dude, hell yeah. I'll have to, I'm sure did you already have video uploaded or are you working
No,
on it?
it's going to be like, I'm gonna
make like a 10-part series.
It's gonna be the most that will most likely turn into like my magnum opus for like entertainment content, not educational content. Like that's gonna be, so it'll probably be a week or 2 before the video's out, but I'm super excited about it. It was fun. It was PvP. We were getting like, there were multiple times we got shot at and got super hurt and had to leave fights. There were multiple times another squad got the jump on us and we killed that whole squad. It was like all of the elements that would make it stressful. I didn't want it to just be like 14 raids of us killing scavs. You know what I mean? We PvP'd, we PvE'd, we quested, we got to level 10 without dying. It was everything I want. We died at the same time, so we didn't have to instigate any of the weird rules. It was like, it was perfect, dude. It was super fun.
Dude, hell yeah.
Yeah.
You started this whole thing by talking about like, you know, burnout, you know, like late,
like the reason I don't even want to say
late white
started.
Yeah. I had like not an epiphany, but like a little bit of a different perspective. I think with all the shit that's been going down, plus a few folks on Twitter, I don't even remember exactly what or who or when, but about more context about burnout in Tarkov and why it happens.
Oh yeah, because I think Dill Hero tweeted something, and you and Ann were talking in that tweet thread about. Yeah.
Yeah, I should be able to find it. Yeah, so he said, seems like every wipe I reach level 64 is about where I'm burned out. I don't enjoy Tarkov anymore. So then I responded with, if PvP felt fair and PvE wasn't completely broken and unfun, even when you're winning, the replayability would be tenfold. The grind is what's fun, not the game.
Yep.
I wish more people understood this. And then, you know, and Munition, she basically was like, wanted to understand, asked me to clarify. So what I said was, for many people who are competitive or completionists, the grind through quests to get Kappa, sometimes it's Kappa, sometimes people want max traders. Sometimes people want
flea market,
milestone.
Whatever it is.
Yeah. Some milestone. The grind through that to whatever your end goal is more enjoyable than the actual quests or gameplay themselves, which is like it might not be clear.
The grind is fun in spite of the game.
Yeah, it's like, you know, when you play one of those games where you're just doing busy work, like I've never played Cookie Clicker, but like any of the things that aren't inherently fun, but like imagine, would you play Tarkov if there was no quests, if there was no unlocks, if there was no, and it's like, maybe you would for a little bit, but it would get old. Like,
that's a good way to put it, because like they're both important, and you're not saying that one is important and the other isn't, but it's like it's best when they're, each of these things isolated are good, and then they come together to create something great. And that's a great way to put it. It's like, would you play Tarkov without the, like, if you started on a fresh account and we all had max traders and everything was unlocked to us, it's like, oh, that's like, no, like that wouldn't be fun for very long. You know what I mean? And it's like
playing a single player game.
Yeah. and you're forced to, and it would be fun, but you're forced to like reconcile with like, would that be fun with all of the things that like happen that go on in the game, like with the scavs and with the audio and with the netcode and stuff like that. And so I think that's kind of what you were saying, where it's like, if we can make the gameplay fun enough to stand on its own, and if we can make the quests more engaging enough to create a meaningful goal, then those two good things coming together can make a great thing. But right now, yeah, the grind is fun in spite of the game. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can even have dog quests and make it so that the progression, so to speak, wasn't even necessarily like the focus if the gameplay loop itself was enjoyable. Because people, how many times have we talked about the changes that they make in order to prevent farming? And it's like, you look at a game like Diablo, that's the game.
It's farming. Game. Yeah.
It's literally, you're trying to get your
fantasy
levels to go
farm
up.
Simulator.
Yeah. You're making your level go up. And see, the thing with Tarkov is every raid, you have the potential to take out, a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's much more, I feel like it's much more common that you'll get like good in Tarkov if you win versus like back in Diablo 2, I would play for a week doing hundreds of bail runs for the point something % chance of an item dropping. Just the chance of it was enough. And it was satisfying teleporting around, killing all of the mobs. Like, it was satisfying to go through that loop. So even if you don't find anything, it's still fun. Whereas Tarkov is the opposite.
Yeah.
It's like, the quests are bad. I mean, even Diablo, the quests for the most part are bad.
Yeah.
It's go kill this thing, go pick up these things. It's the same as Tarkov, right? But nobody plays Diablo for the quests. They play Diablo for like the farming and the killing minions and
the dopamine drip of getting loot constantly. You know what I mean? And so that's a great way to put it. It's like a game could be fun with a great core gameplay loop and terrible quests. And a game could be fun with really thoughtfully well-designed quests, but a kind of a lacking gameplay loop. And a game could be perfect if they were both good. And I think it's hard because, like, don't hear me say this, viewer, in like an omega pessimistic way. I believe that Tarkov hasn't lost an ounce of its potential. There are a lot of people that it's like it's just not what it used to be. It's never going to be blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't think they've like fallen off a cliff. I think some things are worse now than they were before, but like, I don't think it's lost an ounce of its potential. But I think what's happening, and if you're new to the game, I understand. And I'm not talking about you, and I hope you're having the time of your life playing Tarkov. I genuinely do, for real. But I think for the people that have been around for a really long time, it's what drew you to the game in spite of the core gameplay loops issues and in spite of the quest design was the novelty of nothing like this exists before, in the sense of customizability around weapons and in the sense of the risk reward factor of going into a raid. Like pre-Tarkov, there was no like, I'm bringing stuff from my offline stash. This is my best stuff. If I lose it, I lose it. No game had done the dopamine hit of I killed you and I am now taking your best stuff. I'm not just getting a loot drop from a boss. I'm taking your stuff. Like, go back to 2017 and remember what it felt like to play Tarkov and the novelty of that. And so I think what's happening now, a great way to explain at least part of the frustration in the Tarkov community, is that now we have a large portion of the player base that's been playing for at least, I mean, we have hundreds of thousands of people that started playing around 2019. So 4 years, and a lot of people that have been playing longer. And we have 4 or 5 other games that have their own flavor of this. So the novelty of it is wearing off, and the players are more so relying on the gameplay loop to A, be fun, and B, actually work. And it's not happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, like, Diablo is the opposite of Tarkov. Basically, the game starts when you've, like, done everything already. And it's like, now I just focus on my character and farming the particular dungeons that I want to get whatever loot. Like, the game starts when you've beat the game. with Tarkov, it almost always for everybody when they get Kappa, that's when they
Is it
lose
ends.
interest.
Yeah, yeah,
Because like I said, the core gameplay loop, because it's like, why play?
yeah.
I'm just gonna fill up my stash with whatever. I'm not gonna. Whereas Diablo, you can find the thing that's a super rare thing that has some value that
Yeah.
you know can increase your stats or whatever. Like there actually is progression.
Yeah.
Kind of infinitely. Whereas Tarkov is like you're just gonna get your 77th slick armor.
Yeah, exactly. And
you get
that's
another
why
level with
we on the podcast talk so often about emergent gameplay, because the fork in the road there is there's two ways to make a game replayable, right? It's permanent adjustments to your character. So if something is a permanent, like I get this better gear and I keep this gear forever, you can scale the grind for that gear so much higher, right? Like I can't, like if I wanted a mutant and I had to complete a 46 law, quest chain for proper to get one, and then if I died with it, I lost it, that wouldn't be fun. So, but if it's a permanent stat buff to your character, a la Destiny, World of Warcraft, Diablo, you can increase the grind. That's one fork in the road. But if you're not going to go that way, if you're going to go the route of being able to like lose stuff, you got the other fork. The only other fork I see is this emergent gameplay where you give the players enough tools to craft very unique experiences within the same world over and over and over again. And the best examples of that, exactly, the best examples of that are DayZ and Rust, games that consistently have really strong player bases. Even DayZ broke its all-time player record, I think, last year. Really healthy content creator scenes were like, freaking movies that are better than some of the movies that I see in theaters are being made around this stuff, because your experience can be different and you want to play over and over and over and over again. You know what I mean? Ask somebody in Rust if they don't like wipes. Wipes are the most exciting time. You know what I mean? And it's such a point of contention in Tarkov. Wipes are the most exciting time in Rust because it's a new story, new nemesis, new this. And so that's a great point. You get to whatever your stated goal is, whether it was flea market, max traders, Kappa, tracksuit, and then there's no emergent gameplay and there's nothing to grind for. And so that's how you end up with red being 45 million rubles when all you can get is toilet paper and 7 PS rounds out of it, because it's just a thing to grind for. I either have to find the rarest item in the game or I have to farm 50 million rubles to buy it. You know what I mean? It's just like because it's the labs cards are the only permanent thing, right? Like there are no uses. You get it, you put it in your butt, and it's there forever. You know what I mean? Those are the only permanent stat buffs other than soft skills. You know what I mean?
Crazy idea. Imagine a world where the bosses were actually like fun.
Yeah.
And not broken.
That'd be crazy.
The bosses, the raiders, the rogues. And the loot there was on average great, with some, let's say, low % chance of having like amazing drops. And then imagine a world where you can't buy key cards or rare keys on the flea market. Imagine you can't buy a marked key on the flea market, but there's like a 1 in 15 chance of Tagilla having a marked key, and Tagilla spawns on factory 80% of the time, and he's not broken. Well, then you can just be like, I'm farming Tagilla for the red card or the marked key drop. And you kill him a million times to try to get that drop, and then from there, well, now you have a key that you can go and do red key card run. Like that to me adds. I don't know what it would do to the economy. I'm not saying this is like good. This is just off the top of my head, but it feels like that could be like a fun loop where you are farming.
Yeah. The hideout, I feel like, is an underutilized thing there too, where like the hideout is a place where you can place permanent things that don't affect the in-game too much, because what we don't want to do is break what Tarkov brings to the table successfully, which is like the risk of losing your gear. So you don't want to make it so like you can have certain types of gear that don't get lost. So like just while you were saying that, I was like, okay, well, the hideout's a place. And that's why we've talked a lot before about like cosmetics is the perfect band-aid. It's not what keeps you playing for 30,000 more hours. But if there were like more cosmetics, more armbands, gloves, if there was like gun camos that were sick, if there was like more tasks like the stylish one, but that were actually good, like that would give people, and I was like, what if there's like some hideout stuff where you could like some of the, you know, I don't know, there could be things that you find in raid that give permanent buffs to your hideout, whether it's like crafting speed increased or like the ability to craft a second item, or even just trophies or unlocking a certain thing in your hideout that's more of a cosmetic thing than the other. It's just like, once again, spitballing, I don't know how to do that right, but it feels like the hideout is a place where you could make more permanent changes without affecting the rest of the game as much.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. All of this just made me like, going back and playing a game like Diablo reminded me how like farming can be an entire game in and of itself. And then I realized like farming is, for whatever reason, it's like, and I think it's largely because Nikita doesn't like it.
Yeah.
Or doesn't want it. It's like the Antichrist.
Yeah.
When it's like, it could actually make the game enjoyable. Right? Like why do people have all these guides about like rogue farming? Because farming is fun.
Exactly.
So the only way to make the game fun for so many people is to exploit in such a way that is like the only way of doing the thing that people want, that for some reason they're actively working against. We don't want you to farm. It's like, then why do you want me to play the game? It feels like what I said before, it makes Tarkov feel like the single player game, which is you beat the main quest line, and then like in a lot of games, it's like, why am I going to play?
Yeah.
You know, like so many games, once you beat the single player game, you're like on to the next one.
Yeah. He hates farming because we're farming money and or gear, which undermines the core gameplay loop in his mind, which is you should always be struggling. You shouldn't be a billionaire. You should always be struggling. So once again, it seems like such low-hanging fruit to allow us to farm cosmetics. If there was a weapon camo that was very realistic, very, you know, FDE or like olive green or something, you know, some really realistic camo that like there were 3 versions of it. You get one version when you kill 10,000 scavs, you get another version when you kill 50,000 scavs on your account, and you get another version when you kill 100,000 scavs. So it's like more casual players can do it, and like there's like a version of it for every style of player. Well, now you've turned the farm from farming these 3 spots for lead X's and then escaping, these 3 spots for lead X's and escaping. You're putting the character's farm into combat, which is what you want the game to be. You're moving around to scav spawns. You might be running into PvP at that point. You're engaging with the game and not just farming a bajillion rubles. You can turn the farm into something, and I think that's the thing, is I think he and the team resist farming because it does currently undermine some of the things, but they resist it instead of harnessing it. And I think harnessing it is a win-win. You know what I mean? Because it just keeps people engaged for something, for some sort of goal that doesn't make people bajillionaires. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, but see, the thing is that like he doesn't want farming, so he makes a bunch of changes that makes it impossible, except for the people that exploit.
Exactly.
And they still farm, right? They still farm. It's just, the thing is it's just less fun to farm, so then they quit.
And less people can do it. Yeah.
But if you could get in and out of raids really quickly, kill all the rogues, grab their look at the super rare keycard spawns or whatever, and then get out, and just do that loop over and over again, because there's satisfaction
for sure.
In killing, taking apart the guns, you know, all the attachments, the expensive things, grabbing the suppressor, like all of those things are interesting. But because of the fact that you can make 1 billion rubles farming bolts, well, then you can buy everything, and then there's nothing to grind for.
Exactly.
Right? But so if you make it so that man, this just makes me want to like increase the spawn rate of some of the rare keys, because then you do marked room runs. That's what I'm going to do for the next month, because I killed, there's a character in Diablo 2, the Countess, and you go and kill the Countess, and there's a bunch of other characters that drop these keys, and it's like, it just reminded me of like, imagine if Tagilla, you know, like had a really high chance of having a marked key or a labs key card or whatever, and now it's like you go do Tagilla, and then that'll dictate what you do next. You do a labs run. and then 1 in 100 of those things he has a red key card, and that's the only way to get the red key card because you can't drop it and you can't buy and sell it.
Yeah.
Like that actually to me adds replayability, assuming it's fun to fight Tagilla.
I like that. That'd be a fun thing. Where it's like you make, once again, not every key, but if there were like 20 rooms across Tarkov that were all like goated loot rooms, and all of their keys were single-use keys, and all of their keys were in different, just like in Diablo, like a certain % chance to drop from the bosses, and we increase the boss spawn chance, well, then you've got this world where like sometimes the little Timmy or sometimes the newer player is going to kill Tagilla or this boss because they spawn closest to it or whatever. And if the bosses are actually engaging in a way that's not impossible, they might clutch up a victory and get that key. But there's something to farm then. So yeah, exactly. You do, maybe you spend a few hours running bosses, and then you're like, okay, well, what do I have? I have 3 of this key, 4 of this key, and 6 of this key. I like this map. I'll go run these 6 keys. And it's like, and then it's like, then when you're out, you want to go farm more bosses. You know what I mean? Like,
dude, Tagilla, 100% spawn rate in the last 5 minutes of the factory raid. Well, now when you scav in, there's actually PMCs. It's not 17 scavs.
Exactly.
And maybe 1 PMC already in D3 exit.
And that's a good call. Like a lot of like this idea actually meshes well with some of the other ideas we've had, where it's like you can increase the boss spawn chance, but then have it an even higher at some point in the raid, so it still keeps people in raids longer. You know what I mean? If there were these rooms that had really good loot, that meshes well with the like loot depoting of idea we've had a million times. So it's like all these things. It's not like you have to go one direction or the other. There are ways like that we've talked about. Well, I'm not saying they're easy to implement, but there are ways where you can make it like, if you want to PvE, it's fun. If you want to PvP, it's fun. If you want to farm, it's fun. And there are ways to do those things without it just being a ruble game. You know what I mean? Like, which is what he hates anyway. You know what I mean? Like cosmetics or certain keys that you can only get in game. Stuff in those rooms is stuff like the stuff in those rooms should be the stuff you can't get off the flea market. Like they banned a bunch of guns off the flea market and armors. Like if you could find, like if there was a small spawn chance for a Slick or an SR-25,
an
RSAS, a Zabralo, those things,
MK-17,
it doesn't have to be like if the point of this is to farm the keys, they don't have to be incredibly high spawn chances, but just the theory of right now everything's a ruble game because you can buy with ruble just about everything you need. Somebody put this in chat earlier. I think I missed it. Oh, yeah, it's right there. Traders have too many items, like, which is true. We talked about that when they started banning all the guns from the fleet. Then when they did the half step into the civilian fleet, where they banned a lot of the ammos and a lot of the guns from the fleet. I said the exact same thing. I said, I'm glad we're moving in that direction, but this doesn't do anything because I can buy all of these things from the trader. So what you effectively did was just made them more expensive, because I used to be able to buy a voodoo for this much, but on the fleet it was this much. Or I used to be able to buy an SR-25 for this much from Peacekeeper, but on the fleet it was this much. By removing it from the fleet, you didn't remove access, you just made it effectively more expensive. But if the game was just a ruble game in the past, it's just more of a ruble game now, because I just need more to get the things. So take some of those things off the traders. Not everything. Once again, I think these ideas most of the time affect the chads more than the casuals. Take some of these things off the traders, put them in these rooms, and now you have a gameplay loop that is completely independent from ruble. You know what I mean? Like where you can, the boss AI is in a state where you can actually kill it with a mid-tier kit. If you're smart, you have to learn, you have to be smart, but you can do that. And then you might get an item that allows you to then go unlock a room that has a small spawn chance for a thing you can't buy with money. And that whole gameplay loop can be enjoyed as a casual player and, casually, or it could be farmed as an endgame player. So it's a win for the casuals as far as them actually getting access to more loot in a variety of different ways and them not feeling like they just need to grind 1 billion rubles. And it's a win for the chads because they have something to do. And it's a win for Nikita because that thing to do is kind of, maybe not completely, but kind of independent from just how much rubles you have.
Yeah, dude. Oh my God. Think about what we have right now. Like, some of the best games are, things are rare, but there's a ton of replayability to try to farm the rare things, and it's fun and or satisfying to do that thing over and over and over again. and then you get excited when you find the thing, right? And then, but
Yeah.
Tarkov is the thing you're doing is not fun half the time. Just to get a rare key, just to go in there and have there never be anything in there.
Anything.
And then even if there is something in there, most of the time you're going to die on the way out, so you can't sell it even if you wanted to sell it. Like, you're not excited. Dude,
I truly would love to ask Nikita why, like, they very obviously hate the ruble game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they don't like the, you know, just like everybody. He's answered, this is in multiple Reddit threads. He's answered this on podcasts. Like, they don't like he was really open about it when Pestily did a few of his things where he like did the market manipulation with when the like trader and flea prices were linked, and then Pestily was one of the first to get the flea, and he sold all the Saluis for 1 billion rubles. And like Nikita is very open about, like, he hates that people have a bajillion rubles, but like the only rooms worth unlocking are rooms where you can only find ruble. Like, you know what I mean? Check 15 is like the best key in the game right now. And you can't find guns in that room, or armor, or helmets.
Green keycard room is so they can sell the stims and maybe get LEDX.
Black keycard, LEDX, and stims. The only marked room that's good in the game right now is the streets marked room, where people want it so they can sell injector cases and stuff like that. You can get guns on a marked room, which is why it's kind of fun to loot. But
God,
like,
you're grinding you're grinding just to get more resources so that you can buy stuff just to grind.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like they for years now have been so wanted to figure out a way to make it harder for people to make money, for people to have less money. But their only way, it's like they're confronted with it too. They know the only way to incentivize people to buy rare keys is to just put 7 Bitcoin spawns in this room. And I still can't understand. I really don't know. I don't know how hard this would be from a development standpoint. My gut tells me very easy. There are so many locked keys, locked rooms right now in the game where the environmental storytelling tells me there should be gear in this room. Kiba, a lot of the reserve marked rooms, almost every reserve key is a key where there's weapon racks and ammo on the tables. But we're finding
AK-74, baby. We're finding
74 U's and Keter ammo. And it's crazy because they don't want people to be rich. And it's like, why not a gun, like a decked out, like the SOPMod M4 is such a great example. The SOPMod M4 is not meta. Almost no part of it is meta. The Elcan's not meta. The suppressor's not meta, whatever. And it takes up so much space. It's like ruble per slot is terrible compared to Bitcoins and stims, but it feels really good to loot. So when I say I want there to be decked out guns in these rooms, I'm not saying I want there to be HKs that are long barrel with the Saker suppressor and a Vortex Razor and 60 rounders of 995. I want more SOPMod M4s. I want AKs with suppressors and stocks and better pistol grips and optics.
Like the Magpul AKs are pretty sick.
100%. A lot of the boss guns, a lot of the gunsmith guns. Like, there's already inspiration in the game.
The 101 with the Reap IR with like the red grip and like that's a sick little gun. I take the Reap IR off.
The MP7, the Bitcoin MP7 with the riser and the aim point and then the laser on top. Like, you could fill the environment with these guns and make these rooms juiced and actually have the net value on the economy lower, because guns are much less valuable. So it's like, I really don't understand why they've never done that, why they haven't toned down some of the just high value, like check 15. It's just military, COFDMs, vases, lions, Bitcoins, stims. Why not tone that down, reducing the amount of, ruble entering the economy, tone up some of these other rooms, but fill them with gear that's more fun to loot, actually might help like a Timmy be like, oh, this is a sick gun, I might run this. And it's effectively less ruble per slot leaving each raid. I really don't understand why they haven't done that with small rare chances for like Slicksters or Brawlos to be in there as well. You know what I mean? Like,
You know why? The reason why is because we've talked about this before. They don't think about things from the perspective of game design. They have a game they've made, and there's a bunch of people that do stuff they don't like, and they make changes to make it so that people can no longer do the things they don't like. They never once have said, how can we make this gameplay experience, this gameplay loop? It doesn't have to be happy-go-lucky. It doesn't have to be easy.
It doesn't have to be easy.
Because I already know people are going to say, oh, Nikita doesn't want it to be fun. But he's also not designing a game that nobody wants to play. The whole point of my game is that it's so unenjoyable that nobody plays it. That's my artistic vision. I'm mauling you. You know, like, give me a break. It's not that deep, guys.
It's not that deep.
He doesn't want a happy-go-lucky, fun game where nothing matters and nobody cares about things. He wants it to be hardcore and punishing and whatever. But that doesn't mean that it shouldn't be... If you're the greatest in the world at the game, it should be the most satisfying, zen, intense, but still like you're in the zone and you're like...
Once again, I defer back to Dark Souls. Dark Souls are almost unanimously, the whole Soulsborne game are unanimously considered one of the hardest franchise to play in the right way. Hard, masterable. All right. Like if I played Dark Souls, I would die a million times, but I could pull up a video right now of somebody beating it on Donkey Kong bongo drums blindfolded because they're masters. And that's hard. You know what I mean? That's hardcore. That's difficult. That's replayable. That's rewarding. That's fun. Yeah.
Man, I really wish that they would... Nikita just needs to sit down and say, how can I make this game enjoyable to play? And actually, like, answer that. Because he can.
Yeah.
Like, he can do that.
Yeah, he can.
But,
yeah.
Yeah.
He can.
Yeah. Anyway, so... Did you happen to see... I know you saw the bug video.
Yeah.
Did you see the other one I did?
I saw the thumbnail for it, but I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
It's the first video I've ever done that wasn't like a highlight video where I had like a story I wanted to tell or something I wanted to do that was not scripted.
Oh,
I had the idea literally in the morning, and I'm like, press record. I'm like, yo, I have an idea.
That's so great.
Because I had been doing a bunch with I don't know if I'll ever make this video because the video would need to be as good as the game. But the more I think about it, the more I am convinced that Outer Wilds is the best video game I've ever played.
I love it, dude.
I can't stop thinking about it. I cannot stop thinking about how good that game is. It has... I won't say it's the best game ever made.
Yeah.
But I think it surpassed Ocarina of Time for me as the best game I've played or the best experience I've had. So I want to do a video essay on it, but I was actually like, I had some ideas about some, like, you know how when you write, when I do like my video essays, sometimes I'm looking for like this overarching like narrative or theme about like, and I was like, I wonder if ChatGPT can say, you know, like, hey, maybe you can expand on the idea. I was like, you know, write me 2 paragraphs about the irony of Outer Wilds talking about, you know, how infinite the universe is, while also at the same time having a solar system that's like 0.00002% of our solar, like the planets you can fly around on a jetpack in like 20 seconds.
Okay.
You know, it's like, it's a mini.
Yeah.
And I'm like, talk about the juxtaposition, the irony of these two things. And it like spit out a bunch of interesting stuff. I was like, man, like, holy. And then it inspired a whole bunch of other stuff.
That's crazy.
But then it just hit me like, I wanted to be like, yo, fix Tarkov, you know, like, but I ended up basically saying, hey, are you familiar with Tarkov's quests? And it was like, yeah, I'm familiar with Tarkov's quests. And I was like, give me an example. And it was like, one of the classic quests is called checking, where you have to go and collect the... Yeah, now it got a bunch of details wrong. At one point, it was like, the stylish one is where you have to go and like farm this item a bunch of times or whatever. And it was like, but I ended up being like, no, you got that wrong. The stylish one requires you to kill the scav boss killer 100 times. And it was like, oh, you're right. I'm sorry. I messed that up. And that's actually a challenging quest because it does this and this and this and asks the characters to and I was like, holy. So I had the idea, I put on Twitter, and I didn't say what I was doing, but I put on Twitter, I'm like, yo, tell me what you love about the quests in Tarkov and what you hate about the quests in Tarkov. And I took all of those things and I went to ChatGPT, which for you guys, if you don't know, it's an artificial intelligent natural language processing chatbot, basically. And I said, hey, ChatGPT, let's collaborate. I want to design an Escape from Tarkov quest. And what I want to do is work with you. I'm going to give you some feedback, but first I want to tell you what the community has to say about the quests. What do you think about that? And it's like, great idea. Like, let's collaborate.
Interesting.
And it was basically like, I'm waiting for you to tell me, you know? So I went into Twitter, copy pasted a ton of things. So I had like a whole page of all the things. And I'm like, here's what people said, you know, quote, paste, quote. Here's what people said that they hated, quote, paste. And it was like, oh, okay. And then it gave me a 3-paragraph summary on all of the things. And I'm like, what do you think would be a good idea for a Tarkov quest? Let's create one from scratch. And it came up with one that was like, it wasn't reinventing the wheel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it was like, it was a quest that made sense in the lore of the game, that also told you the what and the why and the where, and didn't rely on RNG, and wasn't like boring or repetitive, and had variation every wipe. And then I went back and forth with it. I'm like, change this. What about this? Change this. And it was like, cool. And then at one point it said something from a trader, another trader. And I was like, let's design a trader. So I was like, tell me.
Shoot.
I'm like, tell me more about this trader. Who's this trader you're talking about? Let's design a new one. And it came up with like a name and a whole story about this whole thing, like medical supply shipment, whatever. And I'm like, let's connect this trader with therapist, and that'll be like your introduction. You know how you get introduced to Jaeger?
Yeah.
This would be like, therapist would introduce you to this other trait. And then I used Midjourney, the AI generated art, to design the avatar. It looks exactly like a Tarkov avatar, and it's just this cool Russian looking dude. And I have this backstory with the quest, and it uses the in-game maps. And one of the things was, you know, when you go to do like near the drone on Shoreline, there's like that box.
Oh yeah.
And then the whatever quest that is,
Lend-Lease, where you have to get all the things. Yeah.
You know how there's like a cart?
Yeah.
Where a lot of times, like the wiki even says, you go to the cart and you follow the corner. My quest explains why that cart's there.
Oh my god.
And it uses that cart, and it has a picture, dude. It was like, it was so cool. And it was like, yo, this is like actually a tool that's interesting, that can be used. And then another thing, I talked about Shooterborn in Heaven. I explained what it was, and it got like it half right, so then I corrected it.
Yeah.
And then I wrote like a long, like a essay on what I don't like about Shooterborn in Heaven. And then I said, how would you redesign it? And one of the things it said was, well, I wouldn't rely on distance. I would make it so that you have to use like a specific like thing, like a scope. And it was like, I actually proposed that a couple years ago, where I'm like, make it so that you need to get the kills with a 12x.
Yeah.
So it can be 90 meters, it can be 200 meters, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The fact that it's a 12x means you're not going to go in and point fire in factory with it.
Yeah.
Like, you should need to go and use the scope. And I'm like, that's an interesting way of doing it, because you know how many kills? I still only have 2 Shooterborn in Heaven kills, even though I spent like 2 days straight, like for 20 hours trying to get the kills.
Yeah.
And I just never came across anybody. And when I did come across them, it was like zigzag, couldn't hit the shot, you know. But it had a bunch of ideas on how to improve that. So yeah, that video was actually super fun to do.
That's crazy. Were you using ChatGPT 4? Because I remember a while back.
No, I wasn't even using the new one.
Really?
I was using whatever like the default one is on the website without like upgrading.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. That's like,
yeah, dude,
fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, so that's like a whole other thing where it's like, how can I use? Because I've been trying to figure out how the I can use some of these technologies, you know. For
Yeah, I know you've been
content.
going ham with like Mid-Journey stuff. You've been posting it, and like all that stuff looks so sick.
Yeah. On the second channel, I have
So sick.
Twitch chat. Will basically I'll just say Twitch chat, give me prompts, and people will say, you know, they'll just spam stuff, and I'll be like, imagine this, and I'm just typing it all, and like my Discord bot is just like generating as I'm going, and once I get like 20 of them, then it's like, okay, pull them up in separate tabs, and then I just full screen it and react. So I have all of that on my second channel, but there's there's things that are hilarious. There's like one of them was no one came to my birthday party.
What a great prompt.
And the prompt, like, it was literally 4 panels. Each one of the panels had like, have you seen The Hills Have Eyes?
No, but I know what movie you're talking about.
Like mutant inbred looking humans, the craziest, worst looking humans ever. Now I just upgraded after to the newest version of Mid-Journey, which does like hands and faces and stuff a little bit better. But this was like they were all mutants, but every one of them had like a person sitting in front of a table with a cake surrounded by people. Except one of them, it was a cow. It's just like, what the like, it's so funny, dude. It was so funny. It's so random, but some of them are amazing, man. Some of them are amazing.
Dang.
But yeah, so that's on my second channel, the Satire V channel.
That's so sick.
Yeah, and then the only other thing is that the bug reporting video.
Yeah, which I don't want to like get too in the weeds on that, but I wanted to bring it up because like it was such a good video in reminding, like, I think we talk a lot about how sometimes the default posture is like so much of this is intended. Like it's just like so many of these, like we're so deep in bugs that there are so many bugs we just forget are bugs. And so like the video was just like, I'm gonna report every bug today, and it was just like,
and my video contained like 10% of the ones I found.
I watched that video and I was so sad, but also like because
I didn't talk about all the
I wasn't sad. I was so sad because of how many there were, and just the state of it, and like, and obviously a big part of it is this concept that like nowhere in the game does it tell you please report bugs. You can't report bugs from inside the game. You can only report 1 bug per day. When you report that bug, so like you can't report bugs in game, you report them in the launcher, and then the feedback you get from that bug is on the forum. It'll notify you in the launcher, but then when you click on the notification, it pushes you to a website on the forum. So you can't do any of it in game. Where you submit and where you get the feedback for that submission are in different places. You can only submit one. And so this, like, we were talking about it, and there were some people in chat that were like, this is what you signed up for, man. You play a beta game, you should be super. And I was just like, bro, you're out of your mind. Like you're out of control. Like no, you didn't sign a contract. You're not an independent contractor. You don't work for them. It's the stance from the development is it should be like a blessing if somebody does. So I want to make that as frictionless as possible.
Yeah, it goes both ways.
To convince people to report bugs. You know what I mean? Like
that was the point of the video, was that it goes both ways, right? Because it all prompted, which we don't have to get into, from BSG, some folks at BSG basically saying like, well, why didn't you had an invisible player in one of your videos, like you shouldn't be complaining about it unless you reported it. And I was like, dog, why am I like let's be real. I can't be the only person that like this, whether or not invisible players that's been around for, I mean, months in the most recent iteration, but like years in general. Yeah. It can't rely on me reporting it 2 months after millions of people have been complaining about it, right? Like that can't be it. And then also, you mean I need to be in raid? I need to get killed by an invisible player, be so frustrated and annoyed, and then close my game, open up the thing and report the bug, and then hope that I unlocked the solution to fixing it, and then open the game back up. It's like, if you want me to do that, well then you need to maximize my chances of wanting to do that, right?
Yep.
So again, it goes both ways.
For sure. Yeah, you can make an argument from this like crazy altruistic perspective that absolutely like that if you're opting into a beta, that you should want to help with the process or whatever. And I get that, and I should report more bugs than I do. I will willingly give that, but it's not a job. So many of these games, like beta is such a meaningless term right now. Like people are selling you like if I ever felt like a game company, like when was the last time you felt that a game company truly released a game in beta for the feedback and not for the money? Ask yourself that question. You know what I mean? Like, do you like, you know what I mean? Like, does VSG really want more people to buy their game when they put it on sale? Are they hoping they get more bug reports, or are they hoping they get more money? So it's like, it's not a job that I have, but I want to do it. It's just like, make that as frictionless as possible. And like, and a great, why didn't they tweet out when literally almost every person's every other raid for a solid month was dying to invisible players? Why did at no point did they say, we understand this is an issue, please report bugs. If you don't know how, here's a refresher. Like, it's crazy to me.
You want to know why? No, you don't want to know why. The only reason why, and there's a universe in which, like, I don't know something specific here, but I'm just going to go out on a limb because I'm pretty confident in what I'm about to say. Reporting that bug is not going to do it. And because the logs, I've gone through the logs. Like, remember the whole you used to get stuck in a
you like went through the logs,
It was because I went through the log. I know everything they log.
Yeah.
As in my 10 years doing software, I spent a considerable amount of time putting very specific debug logs in, and then when someone experienced it, the first person I'd be like, when support would reach out to me as a developer, I'd be like, give me their email, and I'm going to email them directly. You're out of the picture, because I can ask them like 3 questions and fix the bug in minutes.
Yeah.
Because my logs, or I don't even have to email them, my logs told me, hey, you went to go do a thing, and the value was no pointer. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that explains why, you know, such and such a thing. So the reason why, like, I wouldn't report something like that is because now a crash, every time it crashes, I'll hit yes, submit the bug, because that's
intuitive.
A stack trace where it tells you what the crash is, and it's a crash log.
Yeah. And it's a frictionless experience. The game crashed. That's what the bug is. The pop-up is right there. I don't have to go find a place to bug. Do you want to report this? Of course. You know what I mean? Like, that's, So like, so it was all those things where it's like, I feel like if they want, like, once again, not a scientific test at all, and absolutely on the honor system. Absolutely. But the other day I had, 700-800 people in chat, and I said, type 7 if the chat, if you didn't know until recently, you could report bugs. Like that it was a thing. Because like you open the game and it doesn't say report a bug in the launcher. If you've missed it on the launcher, that's it. And there were so many people. And then I was like, if you knew that you could report bugs, how many of you didn't know how to do it? I played the game for 2 years before I knew how to submit a bug report. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like the game doesn't ask it of you. And like, I mean, the people that are like, well, you should know. It's just like, that's all an unstated thing. The game never asks you to it. It never explains how you do it. It never explains the importance of it. It never explains what type of information to look out for. And it's really bad at giving you feedback. Every single time I've reported a bug, I think I've gotten the same copy pasta back every single time.
Well, that's the problem.
Time.
It makes it worse too, because here's the thing. When you like you call Comcast because your internet goes out, what they do is they say, let me power cycle your router, or have you tried unplugging it or whatever. They're basically, in so many words, they're saying the problem's on your end. Let me help you fix it.
Yeah.
When really what they need to do is they need to say, okay, we understand there's a problem. You help us fix it.
Yeah.
Give us the information, because one of the reports I had was like, reinstall Windows, reformat your hard drive, uninstall the game, reinstall it again, do this other. It was literally 12 different things. Each one of them would take an hour and a half to do.
There's no way.
And then it was relaunch the game and see if the
Windows.
problem. It was that's so much work. And the problem is, this was actually back in the day how my voice binds for the F keys, how they get reset every time you launch the game.
Yeah.
They wanted me to like uninstall the game, reinstall. I'm like, yo, I'm not going to do any of that. You just fix it.
Yeah.
It's not worth, if that fixes it, that's not worth it to me to have to do that. I'll not play with binds
exactly.
for
Reformatting my hard drive or reinstalling my OS is like, I'm not gonna do that.
No, but if they said, hey, we know this is an issue and we're working on it, in the meantime, here's what we can do. But if they know it's an issue and they're working on it, they say thanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and again, the problem is that like this is where, I don't know, it just feels like a double standard or whatever, because the same CM that was like, why did you report the bug? You were complaining, you're a software, and I didn't even talk about some of the other things. So like, you're a software engineer, don't you know the value in bug reports, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, I know the value in bug reports, but not the types of bug reports that we're talking about here. Completely no evidence, no information, random ass bug reports from all kinds of random people all the time. Like, no, there's not value in that en masse when it goes through customer support and doesn't get filtered through devs and whatever. So the same person that did that was also like, as soon as because I submitted my video back with a smiley face, I'm like, here's the video. They said, okay, great video. We already know about all of those issues and we're working on it. So why do I waste my time? That's the reason why people don't submit, is because 98% of the time the answer is we already know and we're working on it.
Yeah.
Well, so what's the fucking point?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the fucking point?
That's the thing for me, is it's like, from a company, if I was a CM, if I was like, I would want to model the type of communication I want. If I want bug reports, if I'm going to be frustrated that people complain about the game and don't do bug reports, I want to model that type of communication, which is done a few ways, which is one, make sure we're educating the players on the value of bug reports and how to bug report. And two, respecting we talk about this all the time, respecting the time of the person who took time out of their day to report a bug with something a little bit more than a copy pasta. And I feel like if you model that, you're not only just going to get a lot more people on board if you make it make it a frictionless thing, but then I feel like you're a little bit more entitled to have a little bit more of that expectation. But every time I've reported a bug report, it's that copy pasta. It's just, we know and we're working on the issue. I don't know if my bug report helped. You know what I mean? It wasn't even like a thank you. Thank you. We are aware of this issue and we're working on it. And every bug report helps us identify the issue. So we appreciate your time. You know what I mean? Like, they do like packages, the Christmas package. There's like, if you participate in the ETS a certain amount of hours, you get a little bit of extra gear. How sick would it be? It's like if you reported a certain amount of bugs or something like that. I guess people would abuse that. I don't know. But frick, just the concept of like actually like educating and rewarding players for participating in the way they want to participate instead of just having this weird expectation.
Dude, you give me 5 minutes in a Discord call with a developer, and if I have something that is easily reproducible, like, we can have it figured out in no time. But going through a system that then connects me to a useless support team that half the time wastes my time, and I don't feel confident that they're gonna pass the information on to the developers. It's gonna end up in a queue somewhere, filtered in somewhere, might not go anywhere. See, the problem is, here's why it matters. It's because this is our democratic process. When BSG says, oh, what, people are experiencing desync? What do you mean? It's because the only way they would know is if you close your game every time you have a desyncy fight and submit a report, right? Because they don't get reports of it.
Yeah.
So honestly, I think that's how they prioritize things, and that's how things come across their radar, is by bug reports. And honestly, that's atrocious. What they need is the CM, like competent CMs or trusted members of the community.
Yeah.
Whether they're Sherpas or streamers or whoever.
Or like the emissary program. That's kind of, I don't know. I don't want to speak out of turn here, but that's kind of what I thought the emissary program was. It's like a group of people that are much more content creator player than they are developer. So they're going to experience the game from a different perspective. Like, it'd be cool if those people gathered a bunch of data, you know, those people shot out tweets or whatever, and was just like, hey, what are the bugs you're experiencing the most often, yada, yada. And they can kind of like aggregate this and be like, hey, from the player base, this is the stuff that we are dealing with the most often. And at that point, that's one of the lines of defense for them to be like, oh, nobody really reports that. Okay, well then now at least you can say, boom, like, and then they might be able to investigate further. You know what I mean? So once again, I don't know if that was the expectation of the emissaries. I know a lot of emissaries. I'm not saying they're not doing their job well. I don't know what that relationship looks like. But from the outside, I thought that would be part of a valuable asset of having them. So anyway, so like I got so frustrated with your video that I started a list of my own bugs that I experience on a daily basis. Now here's the thing. I didn't include bugs that were in your video. So this is a list in addition to your video, okay? My actual teammate I queued in with spawning in a different raid than me. That happens. The matching bug. The secondary bug to the matching bug, which is by clicking the back out button, you get in an infinite loop for 10 minutes. You should Alt F4, okay? The third version...
Alt F4 and not hit... No, and not hit back.
Yeah, so the first bug is...
I Alt F4 when I hit back, and that's too late.
Too late. So the first bug is we get the matching bug 20% of our raids. The second bug is to get out of that, don't click the big giant back button. Alt F4 your game. The third bug in that bug is that when you do that, all of your gear will appear uninsured, but it is insured. And if you don't know that, you're going to spend another 100,000 rubles insuring it. It won't show up as insured, but if you queue into the raid, as soon as you spawn into the raid, hit tab, all of your gear is insured. So that's 3 bugs in one, all right? The awaiting session start bug, where you have to Alt F4 out of the game, that's separate from the matching bug.
Wait, it lets you insure it twice?
Yeah.
See, that right there actually blows my mind, because I would think that would be like the item move error. Like, that it shouldn't let you insure something.
Maybe it doesn't take the money. You'd never know because you're not in your stash when you insure, but it doesn't give a move error. It will let you insure it again. The stamina bug is still in the game, where I can have full stamina and just shaky arms as if I have no stamina. The face shield breathing bug, where if you start with a face shield down, you don't get the breathing bug, but if you start with it up and pull it down, you're breathing for the entire raid. It seems as though that's a bug and an unintended thing. I had a raid with J Bebe in reserve where I killed a guy on one of the staircases in reserve. Then that guy and then his teammate killed me on that staircase. And then Jay killed the guy that killed me. And he was asking me where my body was. And I pulled up his stream and we found out the guy I killed, me, and the guy Jay killed, all of us fell through the staircase and were inside of each other underneath the staircase, and he couldn't get access to our body. He couldn't reach my body. Okay? So I don't know what that is. The audio when switching, the audio inclusion is really bad, but also like there are certain things where like in reserve right now, when we go underground, like my teammates' audio will be like not only occluded, but like occluded and 50 feet into the deep sea. Like it's like it's
even if you both come above ground after that.
Yeah, it's not like that specific bug isn't just an audio inclusion zone bug. Like it's something else. The no audio grenade bug that happens all the time. The looting bug, which has multiple flavors of it. I don't know if you've noticed this, the bug where you kill a guy and just like half his gear is unlootable. Additionally, there's a bug.
Yep, I get that so much.
Yeah. Additionally, there's a bug where like Jay killed a guy the other day and I was like, oh, you don't want this guy's stuff? And he was like, Jesse, I have that guy's stuff, but it was all still on his body and I couldn't interact with it. The visual bug where I brought in this has happened to me a ton recently. I brought in a kit for Velian. Velian died and then I bring him his kit back. He puts it all on. He's still completely naked to me for the rest of the raid. Even if he swaps out gear for other people's gear that he kills, he's completely naked for me for the entire raid. The party system completely disappears sometimes. Moving errors everywhere. I can right now, if you wanted to, you can scav into a raid with 12 other of your community, by the way. Did you know that the max party size for scav is 4? But right now you can scav in with 12 people. As long as you send invites before people start accepting, you can scav in with 12 people. The visual bug that's been happening since the thing started, where if you try a scav army with their community in the lobby, half of them will show up as PMCs. And I get asked that question every day. How are they PMCing with you as a scav? It's just a visual bug. It's just showing you what's on their PMC in the moment in the lobby, not what's on their scav. That's been happening since day one of them adding the thing. The dubstep audio after raids, that's been happening for 2 years now, hasn't been fixed. Canceling eating an item consumes the item and doesn't give you any food. I had a bug where I opened a door and I was stuck in
and the CMS kit is the same thing.
Yeah. I opened a door on streets and was stuck in the 12th dimension for 5 minutes. Fairly regularly when I extract, if me and a friend are extracting at the same time, it'll only take my friend. I have to then exit the extraction and then get back into the extraction and do the countdown again, and then it takes me. The rotate bug when reloading, putting loot. Weird audio suppression sounds that happen. And then I've had multiple ones where like I'm at the insurance screen and I forgot something and I click back and it doesn't let you back. You're stuck at the insurance screen. I can click back 1,000 times and I just stay there. I have to, once again, you have to Alt F4. So those are all bugs that I experience regularly or semi-regularly, all bugs that weren't included in your video. It would take me 27 consecutive days to report them all. And we don't know if we should be reporting certain things every time they happen. Like,
BSG might not know about them, or they might be on the backlog somewhere, or they might have a fix for it in the next patch.
Do they need to know every single time that happens for the thing? Because then I could never get through this backlog, because some of these things happen multiple times a night. So I couldn't physically report all these bugs if I wanted to, only allowing me to report one today. And this doesn't factor in things like desync, where you said, oh, should we be reporting that? And additionally, it doesn't factor in things that are bugs that we don't even know are bugs, a la the blacked out limb day. Remember on the podcast with Nikita, he was like, that's a bug. Like, how many things do we think is just the way it's supposed to be and it's a bug? So it's like, and that list took me 10 minutes to come up with. Like,
you know how mad I was when I was like, all right, we're gonna report those 2 bugs, and the first one I did was that you can't log in, and then I was gonna do it blue screens my which like kills my stream and the game and my character in game, and it was like, sorry, you can't do. I'm like, oh. Like that was the important one, and I can't even report it. But yeah, I mean, so here's the thing: the one thing that they've said, which it's like, okay, I guess, like, just take it for what it is. I don't know if they've said this publicly or not, because I haven't really been paying attention to Tarkov anything, but they at least told me that, like, the next patch, I think, they're, like, focusing on, like, Operation Health. Like, let's fix.
Okay,
I have a feeling whenever this happens, it's always, like, one quality of life thing that's neat, and then like 27 bugs that I never heard of or experienced fixed, and then like 1 or 2 things that they're like, we think we fixed, and then they're like not, and then we like.
And that's what I'm saying too. The other side of this is, what does the player feel and experience? And so often the big bug patches are fixing bugs we didn't know. How many times do you read the patch notes where it's like, fixed a bug where sometimes your scav would do the Macarena if shooting a TTK FMJ round, and it was like, oh, okay.
Fix the bug where you accidentally get too much money in a thing. It's like, oh, we got to get rid of that one.
Yeah, exactly. So there's that, and then there's things like, I know it's more complicated than this, but then like, we've been complaining about the audio for 4 years, and it's worse than it's ever been. You know what I mean? So it's like, some of the things,
it's worse now than it was at the beginning of the wipe.
Yeah,
when they said, don't worry, it's going to get better.
Exactly. So some of the things that we like, some of the things we've wanted, the biggest things we've had problems with for the longest times are either the same as they've been or worse over the span of 4 to 7 years. Things that we don't know about are often fixed, which I'm glad those things are fixed. I'm not saying they're bad, but it's just the feedback is so infrequently. I'm glad we reported that bug. It's gone now. You know what I mean? So it's like, now I'm glad that that's the thing. I'm glad that they said that the next thing is Operation Health, a style thing, because that's very much so needed. Speaking of health, however,
I was going to say, speaking of, You said copy pasta. I was gonna say, speaking of pasta.
Speaking of pasta, that would have been an even better one. I feel like Linus out here with these freaking transitions. Speaking of health, we would like to take a second and thank the second sponsor of tonight's episode, and that is Factor, which is America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit. Factor is awesome because you can get chef-prepared meals that are cooked and ready to eat delivered right to your door. All you have to do is heat them up. So we have used Factor. We've both interacted with them. I have been, like, over the past year or two experimenting with a lot of these, like, delivery meal services. And Factor is really, really cool because they take it the one step further where you don't even have to cook. And we think about us gamers or content creators or people who are in our little man caves all day long, just gaming and doing stuff and working. It's actually super nice to be able to just like get up, go heat something up that's delicious and chef made and just get right back to it and eat. There's so many layers to it. The one side is like the food and the health aspect of it. It's nice having pre-portioned, helps me not overeat. And those portions are balanced portions in that there's like always like a protein, a vegetable, and a carb, right? Like if I'm getting up to go make something in the middle of an editing session, it's going to be a Hot Pocket. You know what I mean? I'm not going to get complex carbs or vegetables. You know what I mean? So the one side of it is the fact that you get like nutritionist helped make these recipes actually healthy things. The other side of it for me has always been the flexibility and convenience of being able to pick how many meals I want, change how many meals I want per week, not an entire month. It's not like you have to do 5 meals a week
Not
for an
locked
entire
in.
month. You can change it every week. There's like 34 chef prepared meals each week that you get to choose from. So if you're doing 3 meals a week or 4 meals a week, there's so many options to choose from. It automatically picks them for you and makes those adjustments based on what you picked previously. So the more you do it, the better it gets. So if you don't want the hassle of even picking, it's going to pick some for you. So like the convenience is insane. The flexibility and customization is insane. And then the nutrition side of it is pretty amazing as well.
Agreed. That's literally the only healthy meals I eat these days are from Factor.
Yeah. And
my wife eats half of them, which is probably the better endorsement.
Yeah, I mean,
she's actually healthy.
That's insane. And then all the other stuff that we've gotten to interact with that they've sent us, like the smoothies and all that stuff, have been amazing too. You can do vegan or veggie meals. You can do proteins. You can do all that kind of stuff. So there's tons of different options. There's just like so much to it, and it's really, really cool. So you can head to factormeals.com/podcast and use code podcast50 to get 50% off your first box. That is code podcast50 at factormeals.com/podcast50 to get 50% off your first box. 50% off is awesome. You get all the convenience. You don't have to do any cleanup. Bada bing, bada boom. Thank you so much to Factor for sponsoring this episode. So continuing on with the Tarkov stuff, talking about the Operation Health, like, obviously that's not what they're calling it, but you mentioned that they said to you that some of the upcoming changes were more for fixing what's in the game. We have had 2 different tweets in the past week. We'll go over this one first. They hit us with an estimated plan of the changes, fixes, and improvements that will be included in the upcoming technical updates. Did you see this tweet?
Nope.
Okay. So I'll read you the stuff. Improvements to Oculus audio on reserve, interchange, and shoreline. New version of DLSS. Visual corrections to remove fog inside rooms, basement, and bunkers on reserve and interchange. I repeat, visual corrections to remove fog from inside of rooms, basements, bunkers on reserve and interchange.
Now, basement and bunkers and rooms, do you think that includes the parking garage or like in front of Kibba when you're, like that long lane?
Please.
I hope that's
Lord
a room.
Nikita. Yeah. I literally, the way that was worded couldn't have been more of a like cock block about getting excited. Because at first you're like, they're removing the interchange. But then the more you read it, you're like, inside rooms, basements, and bunkers. You know what I mean? And you're like, oh God. But I'm hoping, I am full coping that they will remove the fog on interchange and fix the lighting. I'm full coping. It's going to happen. Notification system for banned cheaters based on player reports. Geometry and lighting fixes for Streets of Tarkov. Networking fixes aimed at improving the connection stability and reducing the number of disconnects while loading into raid. Improvements to the UI for putting offers on the flea market based on previous balancing changes.
Wait, what?
Exactly. There should have been a period earlier in that sentence.
If you said based on balancing changes, remove that, and I get excited for quick sell.
Exactly. Improvements to the UI for putting offers on the flea market based on previous balancing changes. I don't know what that means. Because, like, how can you make changes to the UI based on...
It's a non sequitur.
Yeah. So hopefully what they mean... Yeah. Hopefully what they mean is that there's some sort of quick sell feature. Bug fixes in the group system and AI.
Oh, wait. They remove bartering.
Oh, no. Are they just going to remove...
So they probably just removed the checkbox and, like, a couple other... I hate humanity.
Bug fixes in the grouping and system AI, and then the transition to Unity 2021. So, interesting stuff. I actually do want to talk about audio for a second, like after, but bringing the Oculus audio, man, verbiage is so important. What I believe they mean by that are the manually placed occlusion zones that are clearly not on reserve, interchange, and shoreline, that are clearly are, at least in some capacity, on maps like Customs and Streets of Tarkov. We'll come back to that. DLSS, I'm all for trying to make the game more accessible and more frames to more people, so I'm down with DLSS. The fog thing is obviously of great interest to Chaboy Jesse Kazam. As a reminder, there are many things wrong with Interchange's lighting, the fog only being one of them. So my fear is that they remove the fog and it makes it harder to see somehow, because they don't address any of the actual like illumination problems on the map, or like any of the fact that like the lighting just isn't acting like lighting. It's acting like they're just adjusting brightness sliders room by room. So I'm worried that if they just remove the fog, it'll just be like pitch black in the mall. And I'm hoping that there's more to it than that. The networking fixes, always very welcome. The UI thing, I think we did just kind of suss that out, which makes me sad because I was hoping for quick sell. The other big thing is the transition to Unity 2021. So here's how I understand it. Some of my mod team has been doing a bunch of like snooping around. I couldn't remember what Unity version the game was on.
I thought it was on 2021.
No, it was definitely not that. I really thought it was on Unity 2020. And then yesterday on stream, I got a Unity crash where the logo pops up, and I screenshotted it because it said Unity 2019.4.x. So I think we're on Unity 2019.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
I really, really thought we were on 2020. So
the reason why I thought that is because I remember when they upgraded, we were like 2 years behind.
Yes. Yeah.
But now we're 2 years behind, so I figured it was 2021.
Yeah.
But it's been 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
What's nice is that Unity 2019 is not currently, as per Unity's website, supported by Unity. And Unity 2021 is. I don't know if Unity 2021 is the most recent version. I don't know if they actually have released 2 additional versions like each year. But 2021 is supported by the devs.
No, they have 2022.
Okay. It'll be the closest we've ever been to the current version.
Yeah, I mean, there's 2020, 2021, and 2022.
So we are skipping a generation.
there's gonna be a lot. See, people are like, that's gonna be so great for the game, as if like that's a free
Yeah.
free 20 FPS, and there's gonna be a shit ton of bugs.
Yeah, it will
like, new
be.
bugs.
So to be
Growing
clear,
pains.
to be clear about what that means is that it means the game could see huge benefits 6 to 12 months after the update. It's not even that it will see those benefits. It's that there are a lot of once again, I haven't done a lot of research, but some of the homies have done some research and has said that in the Unity community, 2021 was a big deal because it specifically addressed a lot of things. And it was the year that the Unity devs really were like, we want to be like a serious engine again that like people can build huge games on. So like as I've been told, like there's a lot of really cool features from a development standpoint around a lot of different things were in 2021 specifically because it was like a big version. And apparently someone said in chat that 2022 is the one that's like still under development. Like there are branches of it, but like that's the one they're working on. So we'll be the closest we've ever been to the newest version. But to be clear about what that means is that it means that any of those really cool things are then just placed in the hands of developers. How effective the developers are at using those tools remains to be seen, and undoubtedly the move to it will break a lot of things. So it's like, I'm very happy about it and I'm very excited about it because I would never want to remain stagnant or end up more and more out of date without long-term support. But yeah, if you're listening to this, don't think that on that patch day you're going to have all more frames and less desync and the sound's going to be better. Like, it'll get worse before it gets better, and it'll get worse before it gets better if it gets better. You know what I mean? So temper your expectations, but if you're a copium addict like myself, it's exciting. Hopefully. Please, God. God, please. Nikita, please. God, please, please. God. So that now the audio thing, I wanted to touch on audio briefly. I don't know if you saw Pesley's video on the audio. You don't need to see it. You know everything that's wrong with the audio, obviously. But he just like documented a few of the things, and it was good because the reason I found that video good was because it highlighted for a lot of people, and I commented this on the video, that there's more wrong with the audio. Because once again, as we've talked about many times, people like to reduce things down to just like a really easy to understand binary, where like all the problems with the audio before were just Steam audio was bad, right? Like, even though Steam audio didn't even touch the things that were broken. And so what Pesley's video did well was highlight a lot of that. Like, and a good example of that is Customs is a map that's currently supported by, I hate that they keep using this term, like Oculus audio on reserve. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not on the other maps. Like, anyways.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah. But when in patch point 13, the patch notes said that the Oculus audio, like these occlusion zones, were only going to be on streets, customs, and I think like woods or something. So we knew in factory. And the ones that aren't, interchange, reserve, and shoreline, are the ones where sound is a pancake, right? You can be prone crawling on the roof of the resort and you hear it in the basement while you're checking red. Same with interchange, same with reserve. So what we're probably going to see is them adding those manual occlusion zones. The floors are going to be much better. It's going to make the experience a lot better. But the problem is, and why I liked that Pesley did his video this way, is he did all his testing on customs. So you throw all that out. Like, it's not Oculus audio is going to fix everything. The Oculus audio that they keep talking about is on customs right now. And it just highlighted so many of the things, like the other little things that are wrong with the audio, where like he was standing on the second floor of dorms, 3-story dorms, with his back to the car, and that door behind him closed. And he had a second account that was like running around so you could listen to the audio. And like, the loudest thing, the loudest audio, the loudest MP3 file by volume was when the second PMC was outside and just clipped a bush really quickly. The bush doesn't get muffled at all and is really, really loud. And then the contrast of that bush, he jumped off, he goes to the 3rd story balcony of dorms, jumps off onto the fence, jumps down, hits a bush, and runs up the metal stairs by the car and opens the door behind him. The bush is the loudest thing that's played, and there's no audio for him running up the metal staircase. So it's like, that's not, oh man, well, the floors and the vertical audio on Shoreline sucks. Like, them adding the vertical audio on Shoreline is going to be great, but they're like, that is such a good highlight of there's so many more issues there. Is it's like, yeah, the PMC is occluded on customs. When he was above you, he was occluded, he was muffled, but when he's in the staircase, he's not. But then when he's on the floor, he is. But then when he's outside in the grass, he's occluded, but not if he hits a bush, because you're occluded if you hit, but the bush isn't occluded. And then there's just no metal footsteps. So like, and so what I commented on the video was like, at least this highlights A, that there's more issues than just the vertical audio, and B, what ends up happening is the audio that you do get is not only not helpful, but often what kills you, because you hear a bush. So then you look and hear and you're like, well, he's probably here. But then the audio doesn't give you the metal. So then a door opens. And if you hadn't heard the bush, you probably would have been more aware of your surroundings.
Yeah. Now you're looking out the window. You're looking at the bush. To the door.
And yeah, exactly. So it's like, it's just, it was a good highlight that there's so much more to it than just the vertical audio sucks. There's so much more to it than just we need Oculus audio to get better. It's just like, it's broken in so many different ways, you know?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that Factory has dog shit audio now, when historically it was before Steam audio, it was still the map with the best audio.
Yeah.
And you watch any of my old videos from 2018 and 2019, and you'll see me owning on Factory. Oh my God, I went down again. Using, using audio cues as an indication.
Yeah.
And when Steam Audio came out, it was instantly like, now Factory is just easy mode. It's God mode.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing.
You can hear everything.
And then Oculus Audio, now it's just the worst, right?
Now it's just guessing.
The positional audio isn't as good as it used to be, and now like staircases and everything are scuffed. Yeah, it's bad. So it's really depressing.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where once again, I'll never bite the hand that feeds. We absolutely need the vertical audio on Reserve, Interchange, and Shoreline. To me, it is unfathomable. Hey, we're back. To me, it is unfathomable that the game even shipped with the current audio on those three maps. It's just like truly unbelievable. So I'm excited for that. That will make those maps good. A lighting and audio patch coming to Interchange in the same patch has got me feeling some type of way. So yeah, I don't know. That's what's coming. There was also a tweet the day before that this is just like some of these things were changed. You probably would not have noticed any of these things. They were all centered around Fence too, which is weird. At max loyalty level, Fence now restocks items more frequently and prioritizes higher quality items. Scav PMC extracts now give more rep. Vehicle extraction discounts are increased. Fence now pays more for items sold to him. Scav characters will now have a higher chance of getting better equipment. Scav character cooldown is reduced. Scav box timer is reduced. And the amount available Scav extracts are reduced. So interesting these things here. In my testing, some of these are just bold-faced lies. The Fence does not like every time I've clicked on Fence, it's still bandages and broken SKSs. I don't understand what that means. I still don't feel like the Scav gear, the like higher levels you get better gear. Like I still just don't believe that that's a thing. I'm max is 6.0 is to get you to max level karma. I'm at almost 9 karma, and I spawned the other day with a shotgun with no meds, no grenades, nothing in my backpack, no keys, and just 12 rounds of Magnum Buck. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. But some of the things like the vehicles give you much more rep now. The Scav extracts give you more rep now. I think your default Scav timer is a little lower. So that was like a very interesting random change. It was just like a little patch all centered around fence. But yeah, it was kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
nothing bad to say about that.
I
guess.
wish, like, I was talking the other day and I was like, what if at max level fence, he paid like 5% more than like any other trader for certain things or for anything?
Like valuables. It still doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
The therapist is the one that gives you money for valuables.
Yeah. Making him
The most money,
an
I mean.
end game trader in that sense completely and instantly just like adds value to him. And it adds value to him as a trader and like makes you actually want to click on fence while simultaneously adding a reason for you to want to stay above good karma.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be an economy breaking number. It doesn't have to be 50% more. But if he paid you 8% more for valuables across a wipe, that's a tremendous amount of money. You'd want to keep his karma up. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay, crazy idea too, because I like that. Imagine if you had a found and raid item and you sold it to fence and it retained found and raid. Would that be good or would that be bad?
that would be interesting. It would kind of bring back the days of the like
The camping
the
fence,
camping
trying to
fence,
find.
the like the chaoticness of what the original fence was, where you would just try to snipe good items, bro. It would be interesting if you could only do that at max karma. That could be what the second tier of him is.
You could buy.
Found in raid items.
Yeah.
You could buy found in raid items, but it wouldn't be like the flea market because you couldn't just like search for them. Like it would be random. It would be, did you see it? Did you get it in time? It wouldn't be as broken as the original flea because it wouldn't be this like, but he would have to pay a little bit more for the item to incentivize people to sell it to him.
I mean, it makes sense.
It would be very interesting.
Oh, dude, why are we always coming up?
Why are we doing this to ourselves, bro? That's a really interesting idea, actually.
So you know what? But you know what the worst part about that idea is? It's another feature that's integrated in with a stupid band-aid that doesn't need to be in the game.
Yeah.
Like found in raid, what it's doing.
Yeah, you're right.
It belongs, but I still maintain what they actually need is what I proposed in my quest video a million years ago, which is like you need to have a flag on items. There needs to be like 5 flags, which is where did it spawn? How many raids has it been brought into? Has it been sold? You know, like it was an AI spawn, or it spawned in raid, like in a crate, or it was brought in by a PMC, you know, like those types of things, so that you can actually know exactly where it came from and what kind of status it has. So it's basically like found in raid should be like 1 of 10 statuses. Well, actually found in raid should encompass like 4 of 10. You know, like if it's because
crafted should be its own flag.
Origin, the origin needs to be craft, trader. Like where was the item initialized? Where was it created? Was it created either on scav junk box, or the scav?
Yeah, the lucky scav junk box.
Yeah, the lucky scav junk box, or like a gift.
Yeah.
Or quest reward.
Yep.
You know, like you shouldn't be able to turn in, you know, a quest reward for like another quest, or maybe not. I don't know.
No,
but like those are the things that you could. If they want to have fine-grained control over these things, then they can't just have a
sledgehammer,
a binary yes
tool.
or no.
Yeah.
Put a binary yes or no with a name that is misleading, like found in raid.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, if that was the case, then it would be a lot better. Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, I mean, that just came out of, we saw all those changes and like, and like, I was just talking through, that idea of like fence is just like completely useless now. And still, as far as I can tell, doesn't sell anything. Like I just don't Yeah,
I never buy anything from Fence.
I just like, yeah, it's crazy.
Dude, can you imagine? So with the feature we just talked about, but also as a scav, there's so many times where I just leave a bunch of shit on my scav. Like I don't need the 3M armor or the P.A.C.A. Like I'm not even going to take it. I don't even want it to take up the space. But then also like a bunch of craft items or whatever that I'm not going to use that I'm going to flea market.
Yeah.
Imagine if Fence gave you a decent amount of money and at the end of a scav raid, you could transfer over like the gun and the armor that you got that you like and then hit a button and say, Fence the rest.
Yep.
And it would all go on Fence. You'd get the money, and now that would all be found in raid stuff that someone else might need for a quest that they could buy if they had max rep.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. These are the things they like. Who didn't they hire a like designer, director,
from like Blizzard
whatever
or something?
From Blizzard? What are you doing?
Dude,
you're from Blizzard.
Right now, okay. Once again, let me just be super clear about what the verbiage was. At max level, Fence now restocks items more frequently and prioritizes higher quality items. I just launched the game. I'm going to tell you every single item that's on max level Fence right now.
It's going to be the one row Vepers and a bunch of junk.
That's at level 1, but the max level,
Cigarettes.
the premium level. Custom light slugs, PM magazines, a half-used IFAK, a half-used CMS, a Wi-Fi camera, 3 different color berets, 2 army hats, the firefighter helmet, 2 sunglasses, a cowboy hat, a Keter, an AK-74U, a half-used rat rig, a glorious mask, and a mustache. I'll read it again. Fence now restocks items more frequently and prioritizes higher quality items. I have 8.73 karma. And that's not the first time that they've said they've buffed Fence's loot. I think this is an Oculus audio situation. I think there's a proverbial wire that's not plugged in, and they keep buffing what the wire does, and it's dangling out there in the freaking digital spaghetti code, and it's just only ever this.
No, I have an alternate hypothesis, and that's they've implemented it properly. There's just nothing better because it's not spawning there. It's what people sell.
I guess.
Why is anyone going to sell good stuff to Fence?
That was never clearly defined. The only thing, and we're so far away from it that I don't know if this was a rumor, urban legend, or if it came out of Nikita's mouth. But the only thing I can remember from when Scav Karma came into the game, where they talked about the whole goddamn reason you grinded Scav Karma, which was to get max level Fence, was that he was going to sell uninsured player gear. I've never once seen anything on there, and they've buffed it 2 or 3 times since then. And so it's like, it was never, that's the problem, is that it was never actually clearly stated what the intention of this max level Scav Karma tier is. Are they just taking what's sold to him, pulling the best stuff and putting it on that max level? Is it generating loot? Is it supposed to be taking player loot? Like it,
because you'd end up with like SR25s and RSAS, all the shit I get back at insurance. Well, see, that's the thing. They can't, because you get it back at insurance. Like, so they're not duping the items. They haven't built it yet, dude. There's no way that they've implemented that. That's what I'm saying.
They just haven't done it. There's like, but that's the thing, is that they're not even taking the best stuff, because there's like gazelles on level 1 Fence. Like, what? It's just,
what was that? But when you clicked on level 1, did it refresh? Like, so who
just
knows
not
if you
real.
would just hit refresh on the other level?
I just
if it would
refreshed
show
them
that
both.
gazelle.
I think chat just bought half of the things that were on max level Fence, because now there's only 6 items on max level Fence. I just refreshed it. But on lower level Fence, there's like a bunch of stuff. I don't know.
So they are 2 separate categories.
It seems that way.
Well, I mean, but also like think about it. Whatever. Like think about like which things are valuable and how much you pay for stuff. They probably just have like a hard-coded ruble threshold, and it's like, gazelle.
I've also
has, like,
never
no value.
I've also never understood why Fence sells items for more. Like this SA58 that's 53 durability, that's stock with no attachments on it, is 102,000 rubles from Fence. Like, why?
You know why? It's because what I said earlier. They only want to prevent people from doing things they don't want them to do.
Yeah.
They don't want people buying, like, they don't want people getting good on fence, so make it really expensive.
Yeah. It's
It's like, so then no one uses it.
Yeah. It's just like a completely useless trader to sell to or to buy to. Adam just threw an idea in chat, interesting idea. It kind of conflicts with some of our other ideas, but it was like, what if at max level fence, he paid 80 to 90% of the value the traders paid, but he bought everything. So what if you could just depot everything to him? You didn't have to be like therapist, these things, mechanic, these things, skier, these things. It was like he paid 90% of that value and you could just sell it all to fence. You know what I mean? Like that would be value to fence. Like, but there's just no value. He has absolutely no value.
Yeah.
And once again, though, like there are a lot of valuable things to scav karma outside of the max level, which is good. But it's like that was. Do you remember the mystery of like what's gonna be at max level? Like it was so cool to like have a max level to him and be like, dude, what is it gonna be? It is nothing. It is garbage. It is worse garbage than the garbage that's on level 1. So that I can't, like, it's just not built. They're buffing something that doesn't exist. Like, and I don't get it. But the other changes are good. It's going to be easier to get max karma next wipe. When me and Velian did, so on brand new wipe day, you get 0.25 karma for taking a car. Mm-hmm. And then it's less each time. What they made this change, and then me and Velian did Iron Man. We took a few cars because we were bringing cash because we didn't have any other use for cash. And our first customs we got 0.4. So it was a significant buff. So like you're gonna be able to get max karma like
this is the highest karma I've ever had, and I do like no scabbers.
Yeah, so it's like, which is good because then that makes max like, because that's good because if you can use max karma and the benefits of max karma to effectively, not entice, but entice, I can't, motivate the player to be good as a scav, then allowing more people to have max karma isn't a bad thing, right? Because then you're motivating more players to be good scavs. And I like in general that way of doing it. I like, instead of making it where if you accidentally kill a scav, you've nuked your entire account. You know, I like incentive based model as opposed to like fear of a reward of a penalty, because then if I make a mistake, I get cucked. But if it's an incentive based, well, then I'm just in general going to be wanting to be a good scav more and more and more and more. But it's not taking the choice away from me. You can still gank people if you want to. You know what I mean? If you don't care about the karma. So,
yeah, I think just as meaningful, if not more meaningful, at least for me, would be incentivize the other direction too. Because part of the reason why I don't like scav runs is because I like combat. Yeah. I find the looting, like a lot of people just like the zen of like going to woods, building their shit up and then leaving. It's so boring to me.
Yeah.
It was way more fun when I go in a factory and wipe all the player scavs in there.
Yeah.
And it would be more exciting now that player scavs have good.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about that before. I completely agree. The old Skyrim, what was the
Dark Brotherhood?
The Dark Brotherhood, where like it would be sick if you were like had bad enough karma and then like a quest pops up and it's like,
because then when you have situations like I had the other day where I saw the tweet about the scav stuff and I'm like, I was editing my chat GPT thing. I'm like waiting for my video to render. I'm like, I'll do a scav run. I spawn in with a PPSH on factory with a scav labs key card. And I'm like, baller. I'm going to loot one box, loot another a jacket and get the out. And then all of a sudden, I get laid out and I'm limping and no painkillers from Tagilla. I just was walking and he just sprayed and my karma's like 5 or something. Yeah. Like why? And then he chased me down and I'm like, open the door to gate 3, close the door. I'm going to the second door. He opens it up. I just go prone, leg met him and he dies. And then another scav comes in and I'm like, well, now I killed him. I'm going to triple down. Yeah. So then I kill the other scav. And it's like, I guess I'm going to get a labs keycard and a Tagilla kit for minus 0.3.
Yep.
You know, it's like depressing. But why? I spawn in and I'm getting shot at
Yeah.
and I have good karma.
I think, yeah, the bosses are nice to you at 6.0 karma. I think it legitimately should be like 2.0. I think it should be very easy to get to where they're nice to you. And then that you used to be able to have them follow you. That should be at 6 karma. That you can't even. I have 8 karma and you can't get it, bro. But I did.
What they need, just don't ADS.
Yeah.
Within 5 degrees of their line of sight.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they'll aggro you.
Yeah. Bro,
at 0 karma.
I spawned in. I scabbed in, dude, on streets, and I was hanging out with Killa in Sparja, and this player scav rolled up, and I was like, bro, I was like, yo, come here. There's so much PMC loot. And he rounds the corner, and he doesn't have max karma, and Killa lays him out. So I just looted him. It was epic. And then as I was leaving, an SV98 PMC hits me in the stomach, dude. Blacks out my stomach. I got a heavy bleed in my thorax. I run back into Sparja with Killa, and I'm VoIPing and I'm talking trash, bro. I'm like, dude, you won't push. You won't push. I was like, I got nothing. What do you want, dude? Let's like, I have my knife, and I'm just swiping my knife, and I'm just taunting this PMC. So he pushes into Sparja, dude, and I'm laying prone underneath Killa. I'm looking between his legs, and I'm like, you won't push. Dude rounds the corner, and I just loot him up. It's so epic. When you freaking get to hang out with them, it's so epic. But I completely agree.
You probably get to see how brain dead they are. That's the thing, is we don't even get to see how bad they are because they insta-kill you as a player and as a
randomly reloaded his RPK. Veritas, his reload was fast forwarded 8 times. He was like, what up? Just in front of me. And I was like, what? And then he doesn't have space for the drum mag, so the drum mag's sitting on the ground. I just picked it up. But it was like...
Does he like infinitely spawn drum mags at that point?
No, he had a 60 in the gun at that point. Because it was just after I baited the PMC. So he shot, and I guess like 8 minutes later, he reloaded. And he reloaded at like 8 times the speed. I was like, what is this absolute bullcrap? So like now, even if he does reload, he reloads so fast that it's like he doesn't reload. Dude, I was like, what? Yeah, I get what you mean though. And we've talked before, and I agree that it would be kind of fun to have something at the other end of the spectrum as like negative karma rewards. Dude, my actual favorite way to play the video game right now is scabbing streets and just double U-keying PMCs. Because it's just like, I care the least amount when all of the stuff happens. If I died with cheater, if I died a desync. And it's oftentimes the most fun PvP because it puts me in a situation where I know I have a disadvantage. And when I win, it feels great. And when I lose, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, I had the most insane scav rate of my life, dude. I rolled up on streets in the Check 15 building, and the door's closed, but halfway, like, clipped through the door is a dead bear. I loot him, AK-101, Gazelle, ULOC. I took it all, and then another PMC's inside. And I opened the door. I see another body in the hallway, a body in the room across. I look through the crack in the door, and I see 2 more PMCs. One's got like a fast MT face shield. So there's 6 dead bodies, full juice, no one's looted. And the PMC is like, yo, there's a PMC in here. There's a PMC in here. I was like, are you a PMC? He was like, yeah, but there's only one more. He was like, let's push him and we'll split the loot with you. And I knew from the very second those words left his mouth, he was lying. He wanted me to push out, and then he was going to shoot me in the face. So I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. And this
a bad liar.
Yeah, this other scav rolls up, and he's giving this guy the same story. He's like, there's a bunch of us now. There's a bunch of us. We can, like we'll push this guy. And the guy's like looting some of these bodies, and he looks up at me, and I just free look like this. But I'm VoIPing. I'm like, yeah, dude, yeah. And he goes... Like, he understands what I'm saying, bro. It was so sick. It was so sick.
Amazing.
A third scav rolls up. He starts the story again. As soon as the third scav rolls up, I just start VoIPing to the scavs. This guy's lying. There's 3 of us. He can't kill us all. Let's push him. And we all push out in the hallway. The PMC kills one of the scavs. I kill the last PMC. There were no other PMCs in the building. Me and this other guy, the guy that I was talking to with my freaking gestures, loot up. And I got out of that scav raid 70 kilos worth of Chad loot. It was, dude, raid bag. I had an SA-58, a Meta HK, like, a Meta M4. Yeah, oh, dude, yes.
One of those because you didn't have a stim.
Yes. Yep. It was insane. It was so perfect. And then we were talking after. I was like, bro, I'm so glad you knew what I meant when I was telling you no. He was like, yeah, he sounded sus. And I saw you saying that he wasn't. I saw you nodding. And I was like, dude, it was so perfect. So that's what scav raids are for me. Like, a lot of people do them to loot. And I say, if you're new, loot, make money off of them. But it's like all about PvP. It's all about PvP. It's so much fun.
That's amazing.
But yeah, I mean, that's the Tarkov stuff. The only other stuff that's come out has been, they've tweeted a few times that they've banned X number of cheaters.
All of the blatant obvious cheaters, I always check that I've been keeping track of for months and months and months now. They're all like 20 levels higher than when I initially reported them.
I know
and
some people, Airwing keeps a log of everyone who he thinks is sus, and he's seen a lot of their names on there, but not everyone. I think the day they tweeted that out, me and Valiant's last raid of the day, we were on streets, and we both died to a guy with the AKGL. Oh, I'll add it to that list, by the way. That's bugged. The AK underbarrel grenade launcher, there's only one grenade you can put in it, and it says it has an arming distance of 25 to 30 meters, but it's not. You could be 3 feet in front of me, and if I could kill you with it. It's not. Anyway, so we die. I end the stream, whatever. Desmond DMs me like 30 minutes later, and he was like, I don't know if you care. He was like, that dude's absolutely cheating. And I was like, what do you mean? And he sent me the VOD, and I was like, okay, so not to be this guy, but he was live, and he was streaming to 0 viewers. I'm not trying to shame him. It's important.
Oh, I think he also...
It's important. Watching his footage, if you had a radar on your second monitor and you were actually trying to communicate without words to me that you were cheating, it would be this guy. It was so like this. Obvious.
Playing your game and then like this.
And the game movement went from you were looking at the game and you were running to like completely stationary, look, turn a little bit more, look, turn a little bit more, click on a laser, line up the laser, look again. And then while looking at the other monitor, click your mouse and the grenade would kill somebody. And it's like, brother. And so I watched the raid where he killed us. And it was, it was just the literal most obvious thing in the world. Whenever he was trying to shoot a scav, it would take him 12, shots to kill a scav. He couldn't kill a scav because he wanted to use his GL. But every PMC, it was first shot with the grenade. Like, it was so scuffed, bro. It was so scuffed.
What I want to know, I'd be interested in people leaving a comment, because I've done a number of things. I've had this exact situation at least twice. One was the Tarkov Anatomy thing where, he killed a bunch of streamers. People were tweeting about it for a long time. I had him on my stream to basically publicly admit, everything. It wasn't like the typical cheater interview, but it was like, you have a reputation, even though you only have average 7 viewers, there's 7 hate viewers because of the, all of this cheating. And then there was another one that I handled differently that I've talked about before that I didn't, make public, and it was all dealt with separately. I want to know what people think we should do here, because the person gets no viewers, so I don't want to give them attention or notoriety, but like if I report them to BS, we can't be 100% sure they're cheating.
Yeah, correct.
If I had to, I would bet $1,000.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't bet like his career or my career. Like it wouldn't be worth it. But I would definitely feel like the odds.
Yeah,
I would take for 98% odds, I would take $1,000 bet. Right.
Yeah.
What do they think? Like, what do we do? Do we just roll our eyes and let them keep playing? Because even if they admit to cheating, they're not going to get banned. They're likely to get banned by Twitch
before they get banned by BSG,
before they get banned by BSG. I don't know. I don't even know how to approach this. Like, what do I do with this information?
I was thinking the same thing. I don't know. Yep. But that's all the Tarkov news. I don't know. There's some other interesting stuff I saw you put on here, like Counter-Strike 2. That's been blown up.
Big, such a joke, dude. I actually thought it was April Fool's.
Oh, big joke. Interesting. I'm just not a Counter-Strike guy, so I have zero opinion on it. So
Dude, like, it
just
got a super hype. People are excited about it. Here's what I would explain it as. To me, if someone said, "Yo, look at this gameplay. Tell me what you think." They showed me Counter-Strike 2. First of all, I hate the fact that it says 2 because it's not a sequel. It's an engine update.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if when they come out with Unity 2021,
Tarkov 2.
They call it Tarkov 2. Because it's just Counter-Strike, and the examples that they gave in all of the things, it looked like worse graphics than I remember. Except the smoke grenades looked bugged to me. And all they talked about is this new volumetric smoke, how unbelievably physics-based and realistic it is, and how it's amazing. Okay. Imagine picture like a swimming pool in like cut into like a concrete ground, right?
Oh,
but imagine
and
it's like a donut. Did you see that?
Yeah,
by
I
any
saw
chance?
that thing where it filled the staircase.
It filled it as if you were to fill it with spray foam.
Yeah.
But it doesn't go above
Yeah.
the top. And then another one was in a wall. There was
staircase
like
like a ramp.
A rectangle built into the wall, and they threw a smoke grenade, and it was like, and it filled the wall, but never came out from the. Now, I understand how that can actually potentially change the meta around smokes and the utility and the strategy. That's game changing. But don't talk about how amazing and volumetric, physics-based, and realistic it is. Because, dog, that ain't how smoke works. That's how spray insulation works. It looks like a cotton candy machine. It's ridiculous. So there's the fact that the smokes might lead to a different meta because you can shoot through them. Yeah. And, like, if you throw a grenade on the smoke, it just makes it basically disappear.
Temporarily or something.
But the other one is, like, the whole sub-tick rate thing, which, like, honestly, for me...
Oh, yeah, I heard something about the tick rate changes, but I don't...
I played CSGO, when I say competitively, I mean, like, I played competitive, like, not like I was on a team, like an esports team. And I was, you know, like DMG, LE, like at my prime, which is like above average, but not like, you know, amazing. And like, I don't know, I just never, tick rate and the net code never crossed my mind.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's one of those things that only really the top, like, 3% of players are going to notice.
Yeah, like
it's
99% of CS players aren't
now, I
dying
could be
to
wrong.
tick rate. I don't know.
I could be wrong. I'd have to play it to see.
Yeah.
I'm glad they did it. It's good that they did it. It's just like, don't call it CS2.
If they, like, basically what you're saying, if they had marketed like the biggest update to CS in a while, like we're excited to announce the biggest update to CS in a while, they would have been like, oh, cool, like better graphics, new engine, some small changes, awesome. But like the fact
people
that they're
were like,
like,
dog, are you excited for Counter-Strike 2? I was like, oh, Counter-Strike 2, and I pull up the thing, and it's CSGO with different smokes and like
and better graphics,
better net code. No, not even better graphics. They look like the same graphics. Like they updated a few of the maps that might like look a little bit better, but overall it was like I was like waiting for the April Fools. Like I genuinely was like, is this a joke?
Yeah.
If they had just said update to Counter-Strike, it would have been like sick.
Yeah.
Totally cool. Call it CS2. It's kind of like Overwatch 2.
Like I did the same thing. I was like, oh, that's cool, but then Overwatch everybody was like
infinitely more
it's just
changes.
Overwatch.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh well. I can't wait for Tarkov 2 though. I'm looking forward to it.
Tarkov 2, Unity 2021.
Yeah.
The other gaming thing, did you see anything about the Fortnite Creative 2.0?
Yep. I've been looking to see. I have some ideas about I was really disappointed.
Cool,
because I finally bought a brand new MacBook.
Nice.
Spent the fucking 35 hundo, and it's like, you know, it's got the 32 gigs of RAM, and you know, it's actually like, and like a large hard drive, and like, I can actually use it for like video editing and other and now I'm like 3D modeling and stuff. I'm like, yo, apparently you can't. I don't think you can do creative. It's not supported on Mac, so I'm really disappointed.
Yeah.
because once I'm done streaming, I want to go upstairs, sit in bed,
Yeah.
and like I'll be in bed writing scripts or playing chess or whatever for like 6 hours.
Yeah.
After a 14-hour stream, like I'm, because it's like finally I get to like decompress. I don't want to end my 10-hour stream and then like
Sit at
continue
that
to sit
computer.
here. So it's really disappointing. But overall, the technology, it just I'm
Bro.
excited, and I feel like there's gonna be a lot of cool.
Yeah, everybody was like, ew, Fortnite. I was like, you're not comprehending what is happening here. This is like,
Fortnite.
this is so cool. Like, some of the best things that have happened in video games over the past few decades have happened as a result of modding communities and games. Like, some of the biggest W's in gaming have happened. Some actual games and genres. DayZ was an Arma mod. Like, the modding community has basically limitless potential, and Unreal Engine basically said, like, the Epic and Unreal basically said, here's user-friendly access. Not that, I mean, anybody can download Unreal, but like, it's just the way they're doing it by providing in one of the most popular video games of all time access to like an almost unprecedented amount of tools in the game, in the experience from the engine to do this stuff. I mean, in 24 hours, we saw games that you would have never said was a Fortnite game. Like, I saw dragons and like really realistic looking like foliage and grass and environments. Somebody made Factory already, like the Tarkov map Factory in creative.
Yeah, I know Ultimate's been working on that.
Like, it's
dude,
so objectively awesome. Like,
here's the thing. I feel like they actually kind of dropped the ball on the marketing of that. They shouldn't have named it or branded it Fortnite.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Because like it has a huge audience and all that stuff, but at the same time, it also has a huge stigma that like people don't take seriously. That if they had just been like, here's the new creative mode you can do. We've bootstrapped every project with like the default Fortnite character and all this other stuff, but you can do whatever.
4 blocks.
It would have been. I feel like it would have been.
Yeah,
probably a little bit better from the marketing side of things, but they probably they probably just had like a deal with the Fortnite folks as like a cross.
I mean, Epic Games makes Fortnite and Unreal Engine.
Oh yeah, I mean, true. Like,
yeah,
it's not a cross marketing thing. It's they're just marketing their own.
Yeah,
which
100%.
is like, I mean, every one of my videos is marketing another one of my videos in my music, and so I get it.
So, but I am like very excited about that and about what people are going to be able to come up with, and just like that powerful of an engine and that much access in a community, a gaming community that notoriously, modding communities and games, oftentimes they've revived dead games from the dead. They've spawned entire genres of games. They've made games playable. They're like the backbone of some games. Like you were saying, Kerbal was like a game where like the modding community went crazy. Like, I am I'm super excited for.
Yeah, I might actually dip my toes in and make something, even if it's like a simple proof of concept. You're like the Witness-esque thing, but like there's only 3 puzzles.
Yeah,
like a
Ultimate said it like the Fortnite Creative 2 is better than most people think. You can create your own textures, particle generators, scripts, literally everything. It's Unreal Engine with the Fortnite framework. Like, that's so sick, dude. I really believe that there will be like an extraction shooter that's probably arguably more fun to play in Fortnite in 6 months or less. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, just as long as they don't have like dancing emotes.
Yeah,
and that it doesn't look.
That
cartoony.
was my thing. Was like, if they could like restrict skins to either only skins or only skins that like the modders made, that would be like a huge thing. So it's not like Fishman or Rick and Morty running around but like,
that's my favorite website. Only skins.
Only skins. Yeah. But dude, I think it's dope. I was like really just like excited to see what creativity comes out of that. Imagine getting head eyes and then getting the Carlton. Oh god, in a Tarkov game. But anyways, that was super sick. But yeah, that's really it. That's all the gaming news. Can't think of anything else. But yeah,
I'm gonna play Diablo.
Gonna go play Diablo, dude. I think I'm gonna go lie down. I went, because we were doing the Iron Man challenge this week, I just went so hard this week. I did day stream Wednesday, day stream Thursday, night stream Thursday because we didn't do podcasts, and then Iron Man on Friday, and then night stream on Friday, and then my wife was out of town today, so I had to wake up at 6, and I was with the kids, literally my 2 sons alone all day. I'm exhausted.
So get some rest, man.
But yeah. So thank you guys for hanging with us. Thank you for holding strong through the curse that is Veritas. Dude, hindsight 2020, we've always joked about how we overcomplicate it by you streaming it and me recording it. It's actually kind of a dope redundancy where, like, if I have troubles,
keep going.
I can just download your VOD. And if you have troubles, I've got the high res recording. So it's actually kind of nice. But yeah, thank you again. Huge thank you to Manscaped and Factor for sponsoring this episode. That's been like huge. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for making this possible and allowing us to be in a position where we can get these awesome sponsors. So thank you. It's Saturday.
Help support us guys by supporting the sponsors too. So.
Yeah, seriously though, we don't just like, we're not out here taking the Raid Shadow Legends. Like, we like taking sponsors, especially on the podcast.
Unless you want to pay us like tons of money.
But especially since the podcast, you guys made the podcast something we couldn't have ever realized it would be. We're in a position where we can take sponsorships and stuff like Manscaped, man. Like, I've wanted to be sponsored by them for so long because, like, look at us. You know what I mean? I've used Factor. These are things that we've used that make sense. So support us by supporting them. The links will be down in the description. Again, thank you to Manscaped and Factor. Thank you to you guys. This will be up on Monday, ready to roll. And we will definitely see y'all on the next one.
Peace.